Bears. Bears Country Podcast. Welcome everyone to Bears Country Podcast on this beautiful summer Monday evening. I'm here with my new co-host, Nomad. He'll be joining me on the shows. Nomad, how are you tonight, my friend?
Doing especially well tonight. Can't wait to get in here and have a good time talking about my favorite damn thing.
Me damn too, man. How was your birthday weekend?
Oh, man, I was just drunk and outrageous most of the time, man. Just having a good time and just being around family and friends. It was pretty good.
That's what it's all about, man. That's good. That's good. So we have a guest. So what we're trying to do here on Bears Country Podcast is this is a platform for the fans. So anyone who's in chat, anyone who we know from other Bears chats who want to be a part of this show, please, you can email us at bearscountrypodcast@gmail.com. You could side DM us at Bears Country Podcast on Twitter, because we're going to need that information in order to bring you into the show. So anyone who would like to join us, that's kind of the platform we're trying to build here. And so with that being said, here's another guest that we're going to be talking to tonight. He's from all the chats. A lot of people know who he is. He's known as Art by Nike, or other words, Nick Welsh. Nick, welcome to the show.
What's going on, everybody? Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for coming on, dude. I really appreciate it. Nomad, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. What's going on? Glad to be in here. And welcome, Nick. I just wanted to acknowledge Cliff, my man. Thank you for the happy birthday, my brother from another mother. Everybody and anybody that's in this chat, thank you. Get the subscriptions up.
Absolutely, man. Welcome everyone in the chat. It's great to have you all here. Steve Sigmund, Cliff Victoria, huge Bears fans. Cliff's in all the chats. Know Steve well too. This is just the best part about this, is just talking to people in chat, talking amongst ourselves, talking Bears shit, venting, getting some things off of our chest. We try to remain as positive as possible. Of course, there's going to be some bumps in the roads as the season goes on, but we'll get to those when they happen.
Our Bears family out there, man. I want them all in here, man. Well, like I see them in other chats, I want them here too.
Me too, man. It'll come with time. So some of the topics I've been doing some podcasts recently. I've been doing a lot of them, and some of the reason has been because I'm trying to network out to our fans who are in chat to get them comfortable with doing podcasts with us, so that when the season comes around, we have that envelope of podcast chat Bears fans that want to join us on a regular basis. And this has just been great getting to do this. I mean, Nick, you're one of them. Jordan was one of them a couple weeks ago. Nomad, I met Nomad doing this, and he became my co-host. So this is just amazing, and I want to thank everyone just for tuning in. This has been awesome. So Nomad, Nomad and Nick, there's a couple of things I want to talk about tonight.
Yep.
I know there's been a lot of things I've covered over the past several podcasts. We just did one with Chris Watts from the UK yesterday. We were trying to conform to his time frame because he's 5 hours ahead of us. So we wanted to make sure we could, we didn't want to keep him up till 4 o'clock in the morning or whatever. So just been trying to add content for the viewers. And we've kind of talked a lot about a lot of things, but I think we're going to just kind of touch base on a couple of those a little bit tonight. But I kind of want to talk about a few more things, and then we can kind of have that lead up to the game that we're going to be playing this coming Saturday against the Chiefs, and we can just kind of put some thoughts into that. And we can kind of get to that towards the end of the podcast. Nick, as our guest, there were some things that we were talking about that you wanted to bring up on the podcast.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
All right. If you want, you can go ahead and pull that picture up then.
Go ahead and pull. There you go, Kitty.
So I'm not a football expert by any means. I just want to get that out of the way first and foremost. I'm only 25 years old. I just like watching the fucking sport. I like talking about it, But here's one thing that anyone who watches football, played football, whether you played Pop Warner, high school, Division I, so on, we all know one thing. Running the football is efficient. No matter how many times a game you do it, it should matter as far as how you set everything up. Now, with that being said, those who run more or run with balance tend to have more success. So look at these teams up here. We have Philadelphia, the Colts, Baltimore, Cleveland, Tennessee, Buffalo, San Francisco, New England, Dallas, Arizona. A few of those teams, people know them for throwing the ball. I mean, Buffalo, they got Josh Allen. Isn't he throwing 50 times a game? What about Dak Prescott? He's got Amari Cooper, or had Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup. He's throwing 1,000 times a game, right? The Cardinals, aren't they an air raid offense? Shouldn't they abandon running the football?
Right. And I'm actually kind of surprised to see some of these teams on this list that I wouldn't have expected to run the ball as much as they did. Like, I would have expected Tennessee to be higher on that list.
Yeah. The fact that Philadelphia is like the highest rushing team is crazy considering the offense that they started off with. Which I kind of want to talk about.
Okay.
So the Eagles, on their first, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games, they only won 2 of them. In those 2 games they won, they passed the ball 35 times, ran the ball 31 times, and won that game. The second time they won the game, they passed. I'm doing this split screen. I'm sorry, it's taking a little bit.
It's okay.
They passed 37 times to the 22 rushing attempts.
Okay.
So, the reason why I bring that up is because the Philadelphia Eagles had kind of have a problem pushing the ball as far as throwing it. Jalen Hurts kind of has a problem with passing over the middle. Not so much that he can't see it. He can see it perfectly fine. I just don't think he trusts in his arm and his ability to make certain passes in tight windows. But he's very accurate when it comes to throwing outside the numbers and deep, surprisingly with his noodle arm.
Did you say that with with quotes around you?
Yeah, because he doesn't have a noodle arm. If you're an NFL quarterback, your arm is efficient. If you had a noodle arm, you'd be on the fucking bench.
Right.
You know what, man? First, go ahead, Nick.
No,
my fault.
No, you can go ahead.
All I wanted to say was I appreciate you for bringing this list up because I wasn't aware of this, but I'm surprised New England is that far down on the list. They ran the shit out of the ball. I just wanted to say that.
And same thing with Tennessee for me. I mean, I know they're 5th, but I would have expected them to be at least top 2. But go ahead.
You would definitely think that, though. I definitely get that point. Just because of how their offense is operated. Because their offense it's simple. We're going to run the football, try to beat that.
Right.
So Nick, you have go ahead.
No, Nick is on to something, man. And football. I'm just an old school football guy, and I believe in old school football. I also believe in opening up a football game and passing that thing around. But I know what keeps a defense honest, and I know that when you run that ball over time, defenses tend to respect you a whole lot more. They get a little lax, get a little used to you coming at them in a certain kind of way, and they let down somewhere. So, I mean, I can go on and on about the importance of running the ball, man. Nick is A1 on point.
Yeah. And look at almost all these teams were, in the playoffs. Indianapolis just squeaked out of it, but the rest of them, well, Cleveland. Did Cleveland make the playoffs?
I think they barely missed it.
Yeah. But down the list, San Francisco made the playoffs. Buffalo made the playoffs. Tennessee, they made the playoffs too, right? Yeah, even though or did they miss the play? They made the playoffs. I know they were missing the running back for a good portion of the season, but didn't they squeak into the playoffs? Can't remember, but the point is that most of these teams in this list were definitely in the playoffs.
I think only 3 of those teams missed the playoffs on
right.
the list.
So as long as we have a balanced rushing attack that's going to help Fields in this offense, that's going to be the key. In my opinion, I think we can all agree on that, to them getting to the playoffs, to them succeeding, I should say. So that's the one thing that they did not do under the Nagy era, was they never built a balance with the running game. So
never.
Right. They never got into rhythm to where when they started running the ball well, they kept doing it. They always pulled away from it. So I think that's kind of some of the things that you're going to see in this year's offense, is just the rushing attack is going to be there, and that's what makes it exciting to just think about. And I think we're going to see a lot of that in the upcoming preseason game, because I think they're going to be just trying to pound the ball down people. I think they're going to the run pass ratio in this first playoff game is going to be pretty high. It's going to be pretty heavy loaded on the running attack. Like, what do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I agree.
You know something? I mean, it's interesting when you play in the game. I play both offense and defense. Mm-hmm. When you play in the game and you run, especially on offense, you're running the ball well in a game. Let's say you ran it 3, 4, 5 times in a row, and the first couple of runs, you see the secondary is kind of back a little bit, mm-hmm. and you get 4 or 5 yards in the next couple of plays, you can see them start creeping in,
mm-hmm.
and that's when the coordinator starts getting he starts salivating over there.
Mm-hmm.
At some point or another, he's about to call that pop play.
Mm-hmm.
So we got the right quarterback for that shit. I can promise you that.
No shit, we do. Kitty, you can take that off the screen. Yeah. Swift Sports Network he spent a good year doing a Justin Fields video that's over an hour long. And if that doesn't get your blood flowing, then I don't know what to say. Then you need to go maybe see someone, because that can give you some optimism in life. If you can't get some optimism watching that video, I encourage people to go check that out on Swift Sports Network. There was a great hour and 10-minute video on the excellence of Justin Fields and why he thinks he's going to succeed in the NFL this year, and why I agree with him.
Yeah, I started watching that video. I didn't get it all, but when we touch this Justin subject, I'm gonna go in just a little bit.
Mm-hmm. And Cliff watched it too. Cliff Victoria says that Fields video is interesting. Plenty of good stats in there. Incredible stats that you would be like, wow, really? Like, he had the highest IQ of any quarterback on the Wonderlic test of all time. That's pretty impressive.
Hold on. Hey, Don, do you want to come in the show, man? We ain't going to attack you. We're just going to talk some football and be civilized human beings. We ain't going to jump on each other, man. You can come on in, man. We can talk.
Don, you're welcome on the show anytime, man. We would have a healthy debate with you. We don't want to attack you.
Yeah, we're chilling. It's Monday night. We're chilling.
I know you would like to attack us, but I think that once you got on the air with us, I think you would jive well and you'd be respectful. So I'm saying you're welcome on the podcast anytime, man. BearsCountryPodcast@gmail.com. Send us your info. We can email you the link. You can come on the podcast. I'd like to do a Bears Lions pregame with you during the week. I think Nomad and I can both agree that'd be a lot of fun.
Man, I just don't want him to think, because we talk shit to each other in chats, man, that we ain't. I'm not gonna be uncivilized, man. I'm not like that. If you got ground to stand on with where you coming from about your team, then I'll give back to you what you gave me.
I respect that. It almost would be fun to try to find some podcasters from a Vikings and a Packers team and do like a weekly like pregame with one of those, if possible, just to break down the team when we're playing them each time in the season. Like twice a year we could have Don Burr on. Twice a year we could have someone from the Packers on. Twice a year we could have someone from the Vikings on.
That'd be dope.
That would be awesome, right?
It's all good, man.
We can
Don's already making excuses. He says too much noise tonight. Definitely this week. Come on, Don.
Get your ass in here and have a healthy debate with us, Don.
You're saying it's all respect, it's friendly, then come on in.
With your scary ass.
All right. Let's not make him steal the show from us tonight. So back to what you were saying, Nick. You were talking about the defense and the running game. So you just kind of gave us some examples of teams that run the ball well that made the playoffs. What do you think about the defense that we have so far going into training camp?
I'm excited about this defense. But with that being said, I don't expect them to be like crazy good off the bat because we got to remember that we have 2 rookies in the secondary. So, yeah, they have high ceilings, and we project them to be very, very good players. I just don't expect that week 1. There's a good chance that they might get burned a couple times this year. I mean, we play some really high-powered offenses, with that being said. Even week 1, we kind of have to worry about Deebo Samuel. Trey Lance, if his thumb's all good and all that and his arm is good to go, got to watch out because he can throw it just like Justin. He's got a rocket.
Yeah, I don't know what to think about that situation with Trey Lance coming in and playing for the Niners in the first game of the season. It can go one of, I guess, 3 ways, right? It could be awesome, dynamic, explosive, and kick our ass. He could get grounded, I'm
not saying he's going to come out swinging. He's going to go through lumps. I mean, he didn't play a lot last year, so he's definitely going to go through a little bit.
Right.
I think he's going to be good, but he's going to go through it. It happens to everyone. You have to go through it to get better. Mm-hmm. Everyone does it. It ain't that sweet. Patrick Mahomes got lucky.
I got a slight counter argument. Slight. And it's simply because they didn't give him enough snaps last year, and that's gonna hurt him this year. And right away he's gonna feel that. And they know. You just imagine what Justin went through. The first couple of games, he's got to deal with that. That shit's gonna be coming at him 100 miles an hour, and he's gonna make some horrible mistakes, and he gonna pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, we can take advantage.
Oh, we will.
I think we will too. I don't know why I keep having this scenario in my head every time I think of that game, the first game of the season. The first thing that comes to mind in my image in my head is they're backed. The Niners are backed up at the goal line, and the Bears get a safety. I don't know why. I mean, I'm feeling like that's just a premonition I'm having. It just kind of down to. I hope, or maybe not. Maybe it's in the first quarter. I don't know, but
how it starts.
I just feel like they're going to have a safety in the game at some point. I think the Bears are going to win that game, and I think it's going to
be at that game. So I hope so.
Oh man, are you?
You know what they're going to do?
Yeah, I'm going.
If you're the defensive coordinator, if you got any good sense, first thing you're going to do is you're going to prove to me that you can throw that goddamn ball out of the pocket. Because what we're going to do, we're going to crowd the shit out of this box, and we're going to come straight downhill at your ass, and we're going to make you do it. Mm-hmm. Until you can prove to me that you can throw that ball safely out of that pocket, we coming for your ass.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm the D coordinator.
I feel.
Yeah, you would think so, right? I think I have that confidence in this defensive coordinating staff. Has anyone paid any attention to Alan Williams at his press conference? Just how?
Oh yeah, he's confident.
Yeah, his conferences, I should say. He's very well spoken. He's calm, cool, collect, and intelligent. And it's almost like we should make like a what's the HITS principle called again? It's the philosophy is called HITS spells this. It's an acronym. Yeah. It's almost like you could make an acronym about Alan Williams as our defensive coordinator. He kind of reminds me of like a Lovie Smith 2.0 as defensive coordinator, with just his calm, cool, collect, intelligent demeanor. And it seems like he's still got some fire in his ass when he's on the field talking to the players, So I'm excited about our defensive coordinator.
They had coordinators and coaches get up there and give you a bunch of word salad. That's not typically the case with this crew. They seem pretty straightforward. But if you listen close enough, to me the nugget that came out of that press conference for him was we got 4 that can get home.
Mm-hmm.
That was key for me. He feels confident because they didn't have that in Indianapolis. They didn't have 4 that can get to the quarterback on a regular basis. They just didn't.
That's why they were swapping in and out.
Right. Yeah. So he's confident that what we especially, that's why, people were pissing me the F off, man, about wanting to get rid of Robert Quinn. What the fuck would you want to do that for? Right. We need a semblance of a pass rush, don't we?
We're not tanking. We're retooling.
What would you want to do that for?
According to a lot of people, we are tanking.
Shit.
If we traded Quinn, yeah, sure. And more people, sure, yeah. If we traded Tev, yeah, okay, we're tanking. But
these dudes that happens, we ain't
tanking.
Well, I mean, do you guys consider this to be a rebuild?
Like a retool?
No, I don't think this is a rebuild. Hub Arkush refuses to call this anything but a rebuild. And there's a lot of others that do too.
What's the definition of rebuild?
Definition of rebuild is trade Justin Fields, trade Roquan Smith, trade, Robert Quinn. You traded Khalil Mack. So then you would be trading Robert Quinn. You'd be trading, you don't have any faith in Justin Fields because obviously the narrative on him is that he sucks ass. So you trade him too, right? You got to start over with your own quarterback. So let's tank this year so we can get the first pick in the next. That's what the narrative is on this Bears team. And it's just frustrating as hell because it's not a rebuild.
Well, can I throw 2 cents in there?
Yeah.
Sorry, Nick. Let me just throw this in there before you get going.
No, go ahead.
There'd be a difference. Let's say 20, 25 years ago when you talk rebuild in a franchise, and a rebuild would look exactly like a freaking rebuild. But over the last 25 years, the parity of the teams has gotten closer and closer and closer. And so that means the free agent market is pretty deep. Mm-hmm. Therefore, any team that wants to turn over a franchise or turn over a roster, it's not that hard anymore because you got a lot of good talent just out there and out on the streets and just waiting for contracts. Mm-hmm. That's how good the parity has gotten in the league. Mm-hmm. And so it's not like a rebuild, years and years ago. No, you can turn a franchise around and be right back on people's ass that next year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw it even with the 2017 to 2018. We thought that was a rebuild year, right? We go to the playoffs. Granted, it was bullshit. It was smoke. But there was the buy-in, as we talked about yesterday, Nomad. There was the buy-in of that team that got them to the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
They had some things go right, And by the way, in that season, they didn't have the extra playoff game that they do now. So that's the one thing that drives me fucking crazy is there's an extra playoff game that people are not even considering. There's an extra wild card slot now. So how could you not think it's possible if they got to the playoffs 2 of the last 4 years with completely dysfunctional offense?
They backed into it in 2020.
Because of the extra playoff game, right?
Exactly. Who says it's not possible again this year?
And we can all, I think, agree we didn't consider them to be entirely functional that year, right? We're like, how the fuck did we make the playoffs? Well, it happened. So if we're any better than that, we're going to be in the playoffs this year. It could be a wild card run.
I know one thing. I know good coaching when I see it, and I know thorough coaching when I see it. But that's another subject for later on. I'll get into that.
Yeah, well, that's part of what we're going to be talking about when we get it. We want to start talking about defense, and we got some stuff coming up. Nomad he puts some time into this, thinking of subjects, and we're going to talk about all of them because he makes some really good points, and it's some great topics of conversation. Let's see. Let's. There's a couple of things in chat here. Kitty's starring me on
definition.
Yeah. So Cliff says, I think when you're turning over more than half of the team, the rebuild term fits. Good part for the Bears if they already have several good players to keep. So
yeah.
So Cliff thinks it's. He kind of said it earlier that he said yes, rebuild, hopefully a short one. I mean, Cliff, do you really think that it's an actual rebuild? Because if it was a short one, it would just be a retool, right? A rebuild takes 3-4 years. right? I mean, can we all agree on what the definition of a rebuild is? How many years does it take to get from where you are to the playoffs?
It depends.
You asking me then?
I'm asking both of you. Yeah. If you're talking rebuild, that means you're going from ground zero to playoffs. How many years will that take a rebuild to happen in?
Probably 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
Because of to Nomad's point about there being a lot more talented people just to pick up off the market.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think the Bears are retooling, not rebuilding. Like if they were rebuilding, they would have traded away any star potential we have, any homegrown star talent they would have gotten rid of because they're rebuilding. They're just retooling.
Right.
We don't need 2 star pass rushers. We just need 1. We'll get trade the one with more value. That's how that worked. Business.
They could have decided let's trade Montgomery too. He's coming up on a contract year. Let's just trade him away now. Let's build up draft picks for this season.
Right.
Plug and play them all. Let's see what happens in this rebuild year. Right.
We have some very, very strong talent at very core positions. And I'm gonna name them. Number 1, you have a second-year quarterback. 2, you have a dominant running back. 2 running backs that's been there and done it and can be effective against any team. Mm-hmm. 3, you got a pass rusher that just broke the team's sack record. To me, you got the number 1 linebacker in the league back there that's just waiting to sign a contract.
Yep.
You got a top-notch, probably Pro Bowl safety when he gets his ass together back there in the secondary. So you got an all-star player at cornerback. What the fuck are you talking about, rebuild?
Right. And I like what Steve Sigmund here says. Salary cap rebuild for sure, but not good players, but good players remain. So
I forgot Mooney.
Right.
Yeah, Mooney's there.
So yeah, they it's a salary cap rebuild. They had to dump the contracts that were killing the team, and now they're going to they have good cap space this year. Next year is going to be even better. I personally don't think they're still going to just say, oh, we have all this cap money, let's just go and sign a $250 million player. I don't think that Poles is going to take that way into the next season. But he's put us in this position to, I think, continue to build through the draft. And I think that's what he started here with his retool, not his rebuild. Mm-hmm. He kept the players that were good enough to remain on the team that are like the core players. And then you have some veteran leadership with Quinn, right, helping along Trevis Gibson.
Yeah.
If Trevis Gibson can't learn anything from Quinn, then I mean,
you have to do 2 things, in my experience and in everybody else's experience in watching football. You have to do 3 things for sure. Number 1, you have to be effective at running the football to be successful. 2, you got to play great defense, and that the third part is that component of the defense. You have to be able to get to the quarterback. Mm-hmm. And we have all 3 of those there. Mm-hmm. So there's no reason people talk all the crap they want to talk, but the 3 key things that you need to be a successful football team is right there. I just laid out for you. We have all 3, and we have some extra going on.
And Nomad, you know this. I mean, if you have a really strong secondary, like I think we both agree that we have, that's gonna cause some coverage sacks, A
lot of them.
That's gonna make your defensive line better by having a strong secondary, like it really looks like the Bears are gonna have this year, barring injury.
That defense is, by all estimations. I haven't been out there at practice. I don't know if any of us have, but by all estimations, everything I'm hearing about that secondary is going to be very opportunistic and aggressive. So Justin will get that ball back quite often and get a bunch of bites at that apple because they're going to take it away.
Mm-hmm. I like Kitty here doing some of her research from Sports Mockery. I'm sorry, honey.
I'm just now seeing it. Yeah, she is doing some research, ain't she?
Well, Sports Mockery, but anyway, wants to understand that's what Wannstedt understands what Poles is doing because he tried to do the same thing back in the 90s. After his first season as head coach in 93, the Bears tore down their roster. Yeah, they did do that.
I mean, football is it kind of, and if you're old enough, I don't want to date myself again, but if you've been around football enough and seen enough football, it goes in cycles. So let's just say for a good while, very heavy run dominant schemes are the winning franchises in the league. And then it gets away from that. And about another 10 or 15 years, it's really serious air raid offenses that are the most successful. It's doing a U-turn right now as we speak. That list that Nick pulled up there kind of proved it to me.
Right.
They're going back to that style. It just goes in a circle all the time. It just cycles around and around and around. And it gets back to regular fundamental football that wins games. It always does this. And we're right there in an era that we got the right kind of system built to be able to do just that.
Mm-hmm. Defense and running game.
Right.
And we've kind of gone back to that. And like you said, it's cyclical. It's
Absolutely.
What you're seeing here with like Kyle Shanahan, right, running the Niners offense. He's trying to say, fuck you, passing game. You think I'm going to pass? I'm going to run the goddamn ball down your throat. Hello, Packers in the playoffs.
Exactly.
And it's been working really well for them. I mean, if you build that running game strong, you pound it down their freaking throats the entire season long. You wear them down in the playoffs, and you do it some more, right? And everything else all the superstardom for Justin Fields will come off of that.
Yeah. I mean, it's running the ball is as simple as ABC, but it's the most difficult thing to stop.
So go ahead. Let me finish.
What was Steve saying?
He's saying no more cycles when the rules are set to pass now. What do you think about that?
He's talking about. Go ahead, Nick.
No, I was just kind of. You can go ahead.
No, you go ahead, man.
I don't really have much to add on that. You can go ahead.
He was just like,
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I think what he's trying to say is that the new rules are quarterback friendly and kind of receiver friendly because you can't hit them, like you want to hit them. So I think that's where he's coming from.
And
yeah,
Steve
you can still run the ball doing that stuff.
Steve Sigmund also makes a point that Shanahan has a losing record as 49ers head coach.
Yeah, he's got like a 2-year window to get something pulled off there.
I'm gonna tell you what, Nomad. There's gonna be one day that Steve Sigmund's gonna come on this podcast with us, and I know him very well. I've known him since I was 8 years old.
Is he gonna want to be feisty?
He's gonna give us a fucking run for our money, man. We're gonna be like, wait a second. Okay, you might be right. You might be right. Is the world? Yes, it is, Steve. Why don't you come on next Monday's podcast?
We'll put him on. We'll put him on with let's say Cliff. If Cliff wants to get in here, we'll put him and Cliff. Let them talk.
I'd like to actually see you and him talk because you both remind me of each other in a way. Like
let's see.
He's very similar to you in a lot of ways, and he sees the game only from not from a player's perspective like you, but from he's the guru in my life. Like he knows everything about everything, football and baseball and basketball related. So he's my number one superstar friend that I go to him for a lot of information. So it'd be fun to watch you two go back and forth on something, or all three of us, because he'd probably put me on my ass, and I'd be like, okay, you're right.
When you've been watching football, and football is like for me, it's not. I can't say I'm unique or anything, but for me, it's like in my DNA. It's like I was born to have something to do with football all my life because nothing other than a woman, nothing has really ever piqued my interest as much as football. And so I'm not saying I know everything about football or I'm some kind of guru because I'm not. But when you have another person that has that type of DNA, ain't a whole lot to disagree about. It really isn't, because if he knows football the way you described to me, he's not going to disagree with me much.
That might be true. Yeah. That may be why he disagrees with me so much, because I'm a fucking idiot.
Nah, he just want to be an ass and argue, and then we can do that too.
Good talk, just to make talking points. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm down.
That was fun. Oh man, this is turned out to be a fun show. It's thank you guys for all your chat. This is a lot of fun. Cliff has one more thing here.
Cliff, does he want to get in there at some point? Ask him.
I need to do a lot of cleaning and set up to have a good backdrop live. I'm out in Lanai right now. Oh, on your Lanai. Yeah.
Well, tell Cliff when you get your shit together, give us a call.
Cliff, you can have just get a Wi-Fi extender, bring your laptop out to your Lanai, and give us a beautiful backdrop of your backyard.
You let Cliff tell it, man. That motherfucker lives in a palatial estate, so it can't be that goddamn bad.
No, honey, no, kitty. Cliff just has a lanai in his backyard. It's like you're not in Hawaii, are you, Cliff? I don't think Cliff's in Hawaii.
I see Steve in there, and he's not wrong. I was very physical as a defensive back.
Oh yeah. I've heard some. He's told me, just kind of getting to know him on the phone, Steve. He sounds like a hard ass defensive back, man. Like somebody that I would not have wanted to have gotten hit by in high school.
I was hunting heads for sure.
I bet you were, man, from what it sounds like. So we had some points we wanted to get into here. You had some great talking points you wanted to bring up, Nomad. I think the first one you wanted to kind of start off with was wide receivers, and there's the different skill sets that we have on this team.
Okay, run that by me again. I got distracted a little bit.
That's okay. I do too, all the time. Trying to run this thing, trying to run questions and shit coming up. I'm like, wait, what did you just say? No, it's some of the points you wanted to talk about was the wide receivers and the different skill sets on this team.
Okay. If you would like, you can pull up a list. If you got a list in front of you of the depth chart of the wide receivers.
The depth chart of the wide receivers.
Because I have a little list here, but I know I didn't get everybody.
I did have it up. My page. Something happened to my page. 1 second.
All right. While you're doing that, I'll get started. The first person I want to talk about is Equanimous, Mr. St. Brown. Everybody, I just like it when team makes a move for a guy that's a relatively unknown and isn't the flashy marquee name. How quickly that person gets poo-pooed. That always tickles my ass, because it's just basically just because he's not a name you see on the marquee or get repeated all day and all night. What do you think? The guy doesn't have talent? He's in the NFL. He's got talent. Was he in the right position or the right situation for that talent to be realized on this level? Not thus far. But it appears from his tape and from what I've heard and seen in camp, he's primed to be able to contribute to this team big time because he has all the tools. This is the first time we've had a receiver that big since Brandon Marshall, right?
Yeah.
We haven't had a target that big, at the wide receiver position. So him and his just the details of his body type, the speed, the hands. He's got really good hands. Great blocker. I think he's primed to be in the position to really, really contribute to this team and shut some people the F up. And I'll be so happy when he does it. Anything back on that?
Nick?
Nah, I'm just here to listen to this right now. I'll let you know when I'm ready to get back.
All right,
in.
I'll go. I just wanted to say, ESB, Equanimous St. Brown, there's a lot of narrative, right, around, Aaron Rodgers has to have his best friend to throw the ball to, blah, blah, blah. I mean, sure, we can all sit and talk shit about that, but the reality of it is, is it true? Or is it true because, Aaron Rodgers, as an established Hall of Famer that he is, still playing the game, living legend, that he already has his bank of receivers, so when a rookie comes into camp, he's like, you just better get your ass up to speed because I'm not going to start throwing the ball to you unless you're doing everything right. So you better start, that's in his mind. You better start learning from the wide receivers how to do shit correct. I'll start throwing you the ball. But for whatever reason, he just never fell into his his man cave, right? He never got into his man cave, so Aaron Rodgers was never in love with him enough to keep feeding him the ball. He didn't have enough confidence in him, so he already had his list of receivers that he's looking for and all the different plays that they're running. I mean, Equanimeous on this team in this running the same system that Getsy's running has a real opportunity to be a good receiver with the experience he's gotten from having the ball thrown to him from a Hall of Famer. And if you look at what they're doing to Justin Fields so far, I've said it to you, Nomad. I mean, you watch kind of how they're running their plays and everything. They're making him look like Aaron Rodgers. Like as far as his rollouts, how he's doing his play action fakes, how he's rolling out to his left, how his footwork, all
I'm
that
trying
stuff.
my best to save that until we touch the Justin subject. Now you got me going.
Okay, we don't have to talk about that now, but I didn't want to keep going on that, but I just meant like you're starting to see it, right? Equanimeous essentially should just kind of feel comfortable moving along in the same offense as long as Justin can deliver. And if Justin builds that confidence and rapport with them that he never had with Fields, it could cause him to have an exceptional season.
He could actually pretty much I think he's going to be a great safety valve for Justin because Justin seems pretty sure that he knows where this guy is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to get to, because in this offense, it's the West Coast offense. It's all timing, and they're running to landmarks because the quarterback is throwing to landmarks, and that's what it is, and that's what he's talking about when he says that he's always in the right place. And so, Equanimeous St. Brown, man, when you look at his tape, and you have to go and look at a lot of Notre Dame tape because it's not a lot of Green Bay film out there for you unless you want to watch him block a whole lot. He's doing a lot of that,
right?
But you go back to the college tape, and there's nothing majorly wrong. He's never had a seriously major injury, but he's missed time. But there's nothing not to like about that guy at all. You got a 4'4" guy, 6'5", not afraid to be physical, great hands, pretty decent route runner. What the fuck is not to like about that guy?
He comes from
tell me.
His father looks like a Greek Adonis. Have you seen his father? Holy
yeah,
shit.
I was telling Aldo, I look like that right now.
Damn.
I wish.
No wonder why he doesn't want his face on camera. He's like, I don't want you all to see how handsome I am.
Man,
He's on his phone blowing up for all the offers.
I looked like that last night when I was asleep. Shit, I ain't never been that big.
Oh man.
No, but there's a whole lot to like about that guy right there, man.
I look like that in my sleep too, Nomad. Only because I'm not wearing my shirt.
Right, and you're dreaming. And you dreaming, goddamn.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not wearing my shirt, so I'm shirtless, and I'm also dreaming.
We all look good that way. No,
what do you think about that, Nick? You think how are your feelings on EQ?
So I wonder if he's actually going to pop off or not. You guys all bring up valid points, and I got nothing to disagree with. Now at this point, it's just a matter of if he's going to execute. You know what I mean? Because that's what matters now is execution.
Right. Is he going to become a Justin Fields safety blanket, if you will, because he's in the right spots at the right time, because he knows how the offense works?
I would hope so.
Or
That'd
is he
be
gonna,
nice.
Or is he going to be the first read and that's not open, and then he's going to be going to the second or third read all the time, or vice versa?
I mean, it depends. Like, I don't know how much him and EQ have been establishing a connection. Because Justin and Mooney have had that relationship now for the last 2 years. You wonder if Valus will also develop a good relationship with Justin. So I'm not 100% sure who will be his safety valve. Truthfully, if I had to pick a player, I kind of want Cole Kmet to be his safety valve. I really want the tight end position to be relevant again in Chicago. Especially because it is pretty important in West Coast offense. Granted, it wasn't the most important in the Green Bay offense, but this is with that zone offense, they all kind of vary and differ in certain ways. Who's to say that we can't have more tight end involvement? and they have been working on a seam ball or something like that. So that'll be something to really look out for. I'm a big fan of seam balls like that. Andrew Luck, Peyton Manning, all the good football players, they love those routes and they hit them. So if Justin's hitting that, I'm a happy camper.
No, Nick's not wrong, man. I think I used the wrong choice of words for safety valve. I think he's maybe the safety valve for the group of receivers, not including the tight ends. Cole Kmet is going to be exactly that. But that's another thing. I don't know if I mentioned that in the topics. This is a very, very tight end friendly style of offense, and he's going to be in prime position to make plays because let's just say, for instance, this is a lot of the West Coast. I'm gonna act like I'm calling a play, and this is what it sounds like in the huddle. It sounds something like, let's just say you're going 32 action left, right? So that means the play is slanted in wide zone scheme going to the left, naked boot right, wide flood right. So that means the tight end is going to line up on the side of the strong side of the offense where that player is going to the left. And he's going to cross all the way across that field while that quarterback is booting on the other side. And it's going to be a lot of wide open plays for him. It's going to be a lot of wide open plays for him. Those seam routes will be there at times too, but it's going to be a lot of flats, balls in the flat and floods, just all that kind of stuff. He's going to get the ball. What he does with it is another thing.
On that specific play you were talking about, he's booting to the right? So you got all your action goes to the left, and then Kmet goes to the right, follows him.
The line's kind of going left. He's going out right. So then you're kind of like moving everyone around. If I'm getting what Nomad's saying correctly,
you're exactly
in a flood concept, aren't you kind of getting everything out to one side of the field, if you will, right?
Yeah, you got all the action going to the left, and that tight end slips out after a fake block, and he goes across the grain to the other side of the field.
That's a great point that you kind
see
of
a lot of that.
Yeah, you kind of put that vision into our head, like the kind of things you're going to see from Kmet. I think you're going to see. I'm excited about Kmet too because I think he's just going to have a. I mean, shit, he's 22 years old.
Yeah, he's young.
That's another thing that
he's a baby still in age.
That's another thing that Swift Sports.
He's a mold of clay.
Y'all do me a favor and knock on a piece of wood like I'm about to do right now. The tight end position in this style of offense takes heavy blows, man. Heavy blows because they get featured so much in this style of offense. If you had to pick any one person that's picked the click in this offense besides the running back, you have to go with the tight end because it's a very tight end heavy targeted offense, man. And he's going to get the ball and he's going to take some shots and he needs to protect himself.
Yeah, he does. I hope he stays healthy, man, because the sky's the limit for that kid. Kmet I think he's a lot more versatile than people have him pegged to be. They have him labeled as, I'm not good with those U, Y, H, whatever the hell tight ends that they're called, but whatever position he is, I know that nobody views him as like the tight end or the Chiefs, like a Travis Kelce type tight end. But
I think Kelsey's a Y.
Yeah.
Frank, somebody in there,
like that.
Somebody in there just asked me, do I know? I think Steve asked me, do I know Frank Kmet or somebody? I don't know. I guess that's Cole's dad or something.
It's his uncle, I think.
Maybe
it is his dad. I think it is his dad.
I don't know. I've never heard of him.
His dad was drafted into the NFL, and then he had an injury, and he was supposed to go high in the draft, but he fell to the Bears late, and then he ended up having another injury. No, he fell to the team who drafted him late, and then he ended up having another injury, and then got cut, I think, and then the Bears signed him, so he came home to his hometown team and got to play for the Bears. And I just think he had a lot of injuries in his career and never like really fully panned out. So that's Kmet's dad. Now, him and his son both played for the Bears.
That's pretty cool.
Never heard of him.
Yeah, I hadn't either before Cole was drafted, and they did a little segment. I think it was on Meet the Rookies or something too. I watch all that shit, so I'm a junkie for Bears content. So
I think we all junkies, man.
I think we are too, man. It's like this is just a lot of fun to sit here and talk Bears, right? I mean, and we're just in the shitty part of the season where we're just trying to find fun things to talk Bears about, right? And once the season starts,
almost there, like
different ball
days
game.
away.
Different ball game. So, Nomad, where were you at with your points? You were talking about wide receivers.
Oh yeah,
and the skill sets. You were talking about Equinemius.
Right. The next one up is Byron Pringle, and so that guy is interesting. When you watch his tape, again, there is the only thing. If I wanted to be extra critical about Byron Pringle, I could be, because sometimes he lets the ball get into his body, and wide receivers. I'm an ex wide receiver / DB, and I was just taught at an early age to catch with my hands, and it just troubles me sometimes when I see guys let that ball get into their bodies, man. Because make a long story short, that's the only thing I can find faulty about Byron Pringle. Everything else I love. Everything, the blocking, just the aggressiveness when he's out there, and he just makes plays. We talking about this is pretty much the person they brought in to replace A-Rob, and you can't. It's hard to. A-Rob he's a great route runner, technician like a motherfucker, man. He gets off that line of scrimmage. He ain't fast, but his footwork is so good that you can't really keep up with him as a DB. So they will miss that. However, there's a dynamic to Byron Pringle. He's much faster than A-Rob. He's gonna make plays down the field that A-Rob only in his dream could make. Mm-hmm. And so you take one person out that has a certain skill set, and you put another one in that has a certain skill set, and I don't want to call him an upgrade, but I don't think we'll slack in that area just because A-Rob is gone. I'm gonna miss him, but I think Byron Pringle is an adequate fill-in. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. And when you look at the contribution we got from A-Rob last year, I mean, if we get more than that from Pringle, it's a plus, right? So
that's right. He's big and he's strong. Also, man, he's very strong. He's this. If you look at, I don't know, man. For some reason, when I was looking at the game tape, he didn't look as big. And then I seen him out there up against next to some other guys out there. I was like, wow, that dude is big, And so he's stocky and he can absorb a hit. You got that going on, man. And I'm telling you, we ain't gonna miss Allen Robinson that much. I promise you.
No, I don't think so at all. I mean, when you're talking about his Pringle not catching the ball with his hands, you're talking about catching it with his chest, and it leads to drops, right?
Right.
That's one of the things. That's one of the things I loved about watching the Meet the Rookies on Bears, ChicagoBears.com is his father talking about how not Bayless Jones, but Kyler Gordon. How Kyler Gordon's Meet the Rookies, he talked about how his father, or in the documentary, his father talks about how he taught him once, catch with your hands. And then from that point on, that's all he's done. It's just use his hands to catch. And it's like his first thing he thinks about when he's playing football. And you see him using his hands to catch on all these different, clips that people are they're pulling up and making, from their phones at training camp and stuff. And just a side note on him, that's when you're using your hands to catch the damn ball, you're going to catch the ball. If you're using your body, you're going to create that cushion for the ball to bounce off of, because you're trying to cushion it into your body and use your body as like a blanket to pull it in with. That's not how you catch all your passes. You got to use your hands.
It's wide out one-on-one shit, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's you know what? Let's take a quick pause and let's interact with the people in the chat. They got a lot to say in there.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on here. Cliff Victoria says Pringle has been pretty quiet in practices so far compared to Mooney and ESB.
I think he got hurt.
He did get hurt.
Yeah, he's been out for the last couple of days.
It says a
quad injury, I think.
Yep.
Oh shoot.
It says like a pretty significant one. I think I was just reading. He'll be out a little bit longer than people might think.
Probably the rest of preseason.
N'Keal Harry injured his high ankle sprain. That's
his is really not good.
I mean, what do you think?
I don't know if people know the difference between a standard ankle sprain and a high ankle sprain. I don't know if people know. So basically, a standard ankle sprain, let's just say on your right foot, you roll your foot to the inside, and you roll your ankle to the right, right? Mm-hmm. How on a high ankle sprain is when your foot goes the opposite way, and it's higher up on your leg, and it takes a longer time for that bone to heal. That bruise I had one before, man. It took a long time to heal. I use a standard ankle sprain. I'd be playing ball again in 2 or 3 weeks. A high ankle sprain, man, that's over a month.
Yeah, I've finished a game on a high ankle sprain. So I mean, obviously it was the what do you call that in your body? The kicking in that just makes you play through it. Whatever the hell that's called.
Testosterone and adrenaline.
The adrenaline. Thank you. The adrenaline kicks in, and you're able to just play through it, right? But the next day, you're like, "Holy shit, that's painful!" Then you can't walk for a week. I've never had a high ankle sprain. I'm glad you kind of put that into context because I was kind of wondering what that was.
Yeah, it's the worst kind of ankle injury you can get, man. It's almost like the difference between a broken arm or a sprained arm. Like a broken arm is all they do is reset the bone, and you're going to heal and be ready to do what you need to do in 3 weeks to a month. Mm-hmm. A really bad sprain, it takes way longer.
Yeah. And when you're using that to run on as a wide receiver, it's kind of your bread and butter, right? So,
yeah.
What do you guys think of N'Keal Harry making the team?
I'll let Nick go first.
If he wasn't hurt, I'd say he'd have really good chances. But with the injury, now it's kind of, who knows? But at the same time, if they bring in more people, then they'll tell you pretty much what his fate. If they don't bring in more people, then he's probably got a good chance.
All right. You know what? I'm gonna put my bubblegum machine GM hat that I don't like to wear. And I'm gonna act like I'm Ryan Poles. So I just gave out a 7th round draft pick to bring the guy in, right?
Right.
And so I don't want to look like an ass for giving away a 7th round pick because all the picks in every round are worth something. And so the coaches are going to be like, hey, man, well, look, he's not going to be able to help us for a good while, man. There's some other guys out there. Maybe we just need to go ahead and waive him, give him a payout or whatever we need to do. And he's going to probably be like, well, hold up. I wanted the guy to get another crack at the apple. I wasted a draft pick on him, and I want to see what this dude can do. Let's just save him, put him on the reserve or whatever. He gets healthy, and if he gets out there and then performing, then we will talk again. But that's what I'm thinking he might be thinking.
Yeah, that's what Cliff Victoria says. Bears can put him on IR, then decide when he's healed.
Right.
Yeah.
Good point.
And then Steve Sigmund says, wait and see who gets cut from other teams.
Yeah, that's another thing, man. That's why this team is gonna. That's why I was talking yesterday. I was gonna say it's gonna be a revolving door at multiple positions because, these teams are so deep at certain positions. You can get your team better, especially this team, after those cuts. So that's another dynamic to that whole story about N'Keal Harry. You never know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean he could very well end up making the team. He could very well end up coming back by game 1. For all we know, who knows? He could be a fast healer, or he could end up on cut or end up on IR. Right?
I was never a real big fan of him, to be honest with you. And to me, it wasn't a lot to like about other than him being big and him being able to go up and get 50-50 balls and bring them down. That's impressive. But if I had to compare him to, say, Tarjay Sharp, I think Tarjay Sharp has more tools in the bag and is a better receiver. And if I had to choose between the two, it definitely would be Tarjay Sharp.
Okay. I think I would have to agree with that. I kind of viewed the trade as an extra big body, you know. I'm from the old school where 7 wide receivers were cut, so I'm always kind of looking at a 7 wide receiver roster from that perspective. But teams don't really do that anymore, and I mean maybe they will now with a 4-3 defense. They won't need to have the extra linebacker spots. And who knows what they do with the quarterback position? But I mean, how many? Just a side note, how many wide receivers do you think the Bears are going to keep? You guys?
About 7.
Yeah, 7.
I think about 7. I think they keep 7 wideouts somehow. I think they keep 4 backs, 3 tight ends. And this is just me. I'm not assuming that I know a goddamn thing. I don't. But if it's me and I'm looking at the style of offense that they want to play, that's the direction I would go.
Yeah, I would think they'd want more than 3 tight ends, though. No.
Nah, I think you get a little clogged up with those too many bodies at that spot. You can always keep one on the practice squad, but it doesn't seem sensible when you got that many good running backs and you wonder about your receiver depth. Seems like you would want to have numbers in those 2 spots.
Yeah. And running back too, right? I mean.
Oh yeah, I would definitely keep 4 of those because they got 4 good ones.
Yeah, it's getting crowded.
Yeah.
I mean,
you got to find a spot for Darrington Evans and Ebner.
Mm-hmm.
One of them or 2 of them may have to play special teams, but you got to keep them.
And that might lead them to keep 6 receivers because Ebner could fill, a slot receiver role, or he could play some receiver here. And I would think, I envision him playing receiver in a lot of different sets, whether it's out of the backfield, just as a fake, you line him up in the backfield, pull him out into the slot or whatever. I think he's going to be catching a lot more passes than he will be running.
Which one? Who were we talking about again?
Ebner.
Oh yeah,
Ebner. Yeah.
I was telling people before, as soon as we drafted him, I started looking at his tape, and right away I was like, oh, he's really a receiver cloaked as a back. He's in disguise in the backfield. That dude is going. You put him and Valus out there at the same time, and that defense is stressed out. I mean, stressed to the maximum capacity because you're going to give up something.
Mm-hmm. I agree. That's what I'm envisioning. I see it. We'll see if it happens. Hopefully they're smarter than us. So
let me get to the next person. We just touched on him a little bit, Tarjay Sharp.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a lot of people poo-poo. They kind of constantly poo-poo in this receiver group, but Tarjay Sharp's a proven pro. Mm-hmm. Turn on his tape. See if you find something that you don't like. I dare you.
Mm-hmm.
Find one thing that you don't like about Tarjay Sharp. Good size. What is he? 6'2", 6'3". Little, probably right around 200 or a little bit over.
Mm-hmm.
Not blazing fast, but fast enough. But 2 things that stick out about Tarjay Sharp. I mean, other than Darnell Mooney, he's probably the best route runner on the team. Very crispy, very technical. I mean, straight technician as a route runner, and he's got pretty good damn hands.
Mm-hmm.
And he makes plays. I seen Cliff or somebody in there. It might have been Steve that said he's a chain mover, and that he is. That's one of those people you can depend on a 3rd and 7, and you just need somebody to make a play. Tarjay Sharp is one of those guys.
And he's 6'2", 194 pounds, listed on
PFR. Pretty fluid. I think he had a little injury that set him back a little bit in Atlanta, but other than that, I think he's healthy now, and that's good.
Mm-hmm. I did like that pickup when they signed him.
I loved it.
Yeah.
You
had So is that what else you have on your receivers on your versatility list there?
David Moore is my next guy. Why do I focus on him? Because all right, I think what they're doing is they're getting traits guys, in that receiver group. So you got your long guys with your Pringle, your N'Keal Harry, your St. Brown, your Tajay Sharp. You got those guys in there. You also need you just drafted kind of a Lamborghini in Velus Jones. So you need somebody to back him up and challenge him. So you find another body type like it, a la David Moore. Runs about a 4.3, very fast, and he's big. That's the thing about him. That's one of those guys. If something happens to Velus during the season, when he missed a game or two, you got another guy that can play that role. That you have, you might have Velus lining up in multiple positions and even in the backfield at times.
Oh yeah.
Who else can you put in there to back him up? David Moore is that guy. Look at his body type.
I think we talked about this the other day. Like, I'm surprised he's still on the team.
No, I'm not. He's had. I mean, the guy hasn't had any blemishes on his track record. He fucked up one time, man. And that's not enough to just throw the guy in the trash. I'm glad they gave him another shot.
Yeah, because the fuck up really wasn't all that.
Somebody just put his stats up or his measurements up.
No, I had to correct her. He's 5'10", 185.
I think he's bigger than that.
Well,
weight-wise, anyway.
I'm looking at Pro Football Reference.
He looks bigger. He might be 185, 190. I don't know. But you can do a lot with him.
Some guys just look bigger than they are when they're on the field.
That's true.
The way Bruce is running their ass, he's probably down to 175.
I mean, what did you think about that, Nick, with the arrest? What was your opinion of that?
Which one was his charge?
He was arrested in Texas with some weed and a gun.
Oh, was he the one who fell asleep at the Taco Bell or whatever?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, that's not the worst thing in the world. I'll be honest with you. It could have been a lot worse.
Exactly. He wasn't beating up his wife or,
right. He wasn't shooting heroin in the fucking drive-thru. Like I think he had gummies. I don't think he had like actual weed.
Well, he did one thing right and he did one thing wrong in Texas, right? The right thing was he had a gun on him.
Yeah.
And the wrong thing was he had weed on him. So big fucking deal.
I just hope he got to eat his damn Taco Bell.
It was probably good as hell.
You knew it was. He was high.
Exactly. He fell asleep. He was ready for it.
He probably went there. He probably went there thinking that they brought the Mexican pizza back, and then when he realized that it was fucking sold out, he fell asleep in his car. And then the police showed up, and he woke up going, Can I get my Mexican pizza now?
My chalupa ready? What's up?
No, you're going to jail, my friend.
If I get fried, I can eat 20 damn hard tacos, man. Just 20 of them. Taco Supremes, hard Taco Supremes, man.
Hey, speaking of, did you hit up the White Castle last night?
Man, no lady shot my ass down, man. Here I was thinking that, it's my birthday weekend. She gonna pretty much co-sign anything I want to do. She's like, hell no, I ain't doing it. Not until Wednesday. She said Wednesday.
Birthday weekend, you couldn't even get White Castle? Come on.
Oh, man, I was pissed off, man.
Grave Case Wednesday.
Oh, man. Steve Phillips says, yeah, we've all done that. What, fall asleep behind the wheel at a drive-thru, Steve?
I was, when I heard that, I was like, he had a Xanax or something.
Yeah, right? Or
people. Go ahead.
It could have been one of those instances where he did a bunch of shots before he left the. Well, they didn't say he was drunk, right? He didn't get a DUI.
And some of them edibles, man, they'll get you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Assuming he was eating edibles in Texas. I mean, I don't know. Texas is pretty hardcore on their weed laws.
Yeah. The South is so goddamn backwards, man.
So
no
backwards.
shit. It is back. The whole damn country is backwards, man. How could it be illegal for you to buy something in one state and then drive across the state lines and go to jail with having it? For anything. For anything. Could you imagine going to, Wisconsin to buy some earrings, and then you come back home with your beautiful earrings you bought for your wife, and you go to jail for them because you're not allowed to have fucking diamonds in Illinois?
Well, these diamonds are illegal.
It's just the world is ready to move forward and get into the millennium the way we need to be, and it's just people that want to hold us back.
And it's crazy that they still can with the movement that's going with that stuff. I mean, Cliff Victoria said that he had 3 guns, but
wow,
it doesn't matter. Like if you're a lawful gun owner in the state of Texas and you have 3 guns on you, it doesn't matter if you have your card and you're allowed to carry them. The only problem that came into with that was that he had drugs on him. He had an illegal substance that's legal in 40 other states. And that's what the problem became. And by the way, the NFL is so lax on weed now that they're not even going to suspend him for that. Most likely, if they did suspend him, it would be for, apparently, it would be for having guns while you have weed, I guess, right? Because
they'll probably just ding it for both of that.
Yeah, because as Nomad has pointed out, there hasn't been any suspension talk from this, so.
No, whatever punitive damages is going to happen to him has already happened inside that building. They fined him, took a bunch of money from him, and give him a shot. That's pretty much all that's going to happen.
Mm-hmm. I mean, when I first heard the story, I thought it was in Illinois. So my first reaction was, well, get your reciprocity correct. If you're not allowed to, if Texas doesn't, if Illinois doesn't follow the Texas laws of carrying the weapon, then you need to follow the Illinois laws. But then I found out it was in Texas. Right. So I don't even know where was he from? Was it even? We're way off subject. But where is he from? Where did we get him from? David Moore.
He was with last time. I think he was with Green Bay last. He was up there with Aaron Rodgers. Never really got on the field that much.
I just wonder if he lives in Texas because.
Oh yeah, he's from Texas.
Okay, so then he probably lawfully was carrying the gun in Texas. He just had weed on him, and that's what threw the whole thing off. And if he would have been in Illinois and he lawfully had weed on him, he would have unlawfully been most likely carrying his weapon because he didn't have reciprocity in that state and didn't follow the laws.
I mean, you gotta imagine. And I've never been a player that made that kind of money. I didn't get to that level, but I do know people, and I know that they know that there are targets out there, and they have to carry a gun because you never know when you're gonna get approached. Somebody might notice you, or somebody might give off that you might be heading in a certain direction, and you never know when you might have to defend yourself as a player of that stature. Look what happened to Sean Taylor in his home. In his home, this stuff happens, man. They are targets out there, man. It's a lot of jealous people, lazy ass people that don't want to work for what they get, and they'll take it from you.
Yeah,
and your life if you get in the way.
And I told Kitty to make sure that she corrected me as we go along, or us, just to have the correct information here. So she pulled it up. He had a package of THC edible candies. So yeah,
Kitty is on her shit, man.
She is. Thank you for coming home, Kitty. It's nice to have you back producing this show.
She is a let me say thank you too, because that's valuable having her there helping out like this. That's real good.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it. I can tell you that.
Well, if I start trying to read, chat questions to bring them up, I lose track of what you're saying, and then I come back to you like, wait, what were you just talking about? I look stupid. So it's nice having you here to run this with me because, I'm still looking at chat to pull up questions that she might not. She's still learning, like the kind of questions we want to pull up. But she's doing a fucking fantastic job, and it's great having you home, love, and I love you, hun. So thank you for helping me out again tonight. So where are we at on your list?
Okay, let's go. The guy that I really root for, man, because I just the guy, Daz hasn't had the opportunity to show anything yet. But when you look at Daz's college tape, that guy is a beast in the slot, isn't he? Have you had a chance to look at him yet?
I have, yes.
And he's an absolute beast in the slot. Is he going to make this team? I don't know, man. I think he's on that hair thin.
Well, you wanted me to pull up the roster of the wide receivers. I mean, let's see. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 wide receivers on this roster.
Yeah. I mean, I think I don't know if Daz makes this team. If they're looking for a guy, if they see enough out of him in the slot, but we'll find out in the preseason games who they like the most and who they like the least. But Daz, I just root for that guy. I think he's a breaking news. What happened? Hold on a second. Oh shit! Y'all hear this?
What's that?
Breaking news.
FBI.
The FBI just raided Mar-a-Lago.
What?
I'm not bullshitting. My girl just came in here and told me.
I just heard your girl. I didn't realize she was a robot.
Like Siri.
You got one of those fucking robot sex dolls over there? What's going on, no man?
I wish I did have one.
She's a professional voice actor.
I probably have more success with the damn robot.
Well, you better, man, or you got no game.
Yeah, see this. I wonder, is that true or not? Trump says the FBI raided his Mar-a-Lago home. Okay, on her shit.
Oh boy,
shit.
It's on now.
He's in trouble.
Sorry
to
interrupt our Bears Country podcast with breaking news.
Breaking news.
Ex-president of the United States is getting his estate raided. We got to
do a little snapshot of that tape for you, Shorty, because your face, man, that shit was priceless. You got to see that shit, man.
I'll make a clip out of it. Holy shit!
You got to.
Oh, how can we talk Bears after all that news? I'm just be like, sorry guys, I'm reading this Mar-a-Lago shit. Just go on. No, holy shit! Wow.
And she doesn't bother me when I'm doing a pod. She just busted up in here with her eyes big, and I was like, "What?
That was your girlfriend? Literally?
Yeah."
It sounded like you had an Alexa that was telling you that shit.
No, unless that was her phone or something. She was kind of like mumbling it to me.
Okay, from here it sounded like.
No, she sounded like a Siri. She sounded like a professional. She was
telling you some information, yeah.
No, I don't know what it sounded like. She had that
like...
phone. It could have been her phone or something. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Wow, that's gonna be some fun shit to look at for this podcast. What the hell were we just talking about?
All right, let's see if we can get back. We're talking about Daz.
I just talking about Daz Newsome. Yeah.
I just like.
I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna go fill up my drink. I got my AirPods in, so I can still hear y'all. So I'll just be right back.
Okay. Oh, good.
Got you.
So you're looking at the roster, right? You got Isaiah Coulter, Chris Finke, N'Keal Harris, Billis Jones, Darnell Mooney, David Moore, Daz Newsome, Dante Pettis, Byron Pringle, Kevin Shea, Tarjay Sharp, EQB, Nasimba Webster.
I keep hearing Nasimba Webster's name often.
Really?
That name I keep hearing.
Okay.
I'm not hearing about I forget the other one's name, Coulter. I'm not hearing him enough.
I heard about Isaiah Coulter or Chris Finke.
Not hearing them enough. I've heard Dante Pettis when he's healthy and out there. He sounds like he's doing well.
Mm-hmm. No Kevin Shea.
Shy, I seen a nice catch from him this weekend, but other than that, I haven't heard much.
So
a lot of stuff when he was in shorts, but since pads came on, I've only heard a handful of guys.
So on the team, EQB, right? That's
right.
one.
That's one.
Byron Pringle's 2.
2. Mooney's
3. Bayless is 4.
Tarjay Sharp.
Tarjay Sharp is 5.
And if it was up to me, probably be Dante Pettis.
6
No,
is
David.
Dante.
Did I say David Moore?
No.
So I think David Moore would be that if it's only 6 guys. And if it's 7, I'm going with Dante Pettis.
I agree with that.
So Daz Newsome can still make the practice squad. So it doesn't
You can
really
put him
matter.
on the practice squad, man. Yeah, I like him, man.
Is Daz any good at special teams?
Yeah, he was a beast out there last year.
He'll probably make the roster then for that. Possibly kick returner or something like that, or just
he's aggressive,
tackler.
man. He likes to hit.
That kind of answers your question, Cliff. I think that's. What do you think, Cliff? I think that's kind of across the board here. The definite locks are. Sorry, just to read his question in case you can't see it, Nomad. Which receivers do you think are locks to make the team? Mooney, ESB, Pringle, etc. That's from Cliff Victoria. We kind of just rattled it off. ESB.
You want me to run? You want to run it off again, right quick?
Yeah, ESB, Byron Pringle, Darnell Mooney, Phyllis Jones. You're saying David. You're saying David Moore, right, Nomad?
David Moore, Tajay Sharp.
Ooh, I don't know about David Moore. I think
man, he's more explosive. He's explosive as shit. And we need explosion. Mm-hmm. And you got to remember, they have that position that they want Velus to play. You need an adequate backup to be able to do the same things Velus can do.
Mm-hmm.
True.
So when you put it's the play calls that make Velus fit this scheme. And if he goes down, you want somebody to be able to threaten the defense in the same way.
Right.
So that's why I say David Moore.
And if Pringle is going to miss any time, significant time, I would imagine David Moore is going to fill in that role for him, right?
Yeah. He's the same body type. I think Velus is bigger, but same body type, same kind of speed.
Mm-hmm.
You can do a lot of things with him. You can actually line David Moore up in the backfield. I've seen him do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's got some good size.
He's a built little dude, man.
6 foot 220, not bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. So, does that kind of cover your wide receiver list?
Yeah, unless you got something else or Nick has anything, I'm good.
I don't know. You good, buddy?
Yeah, I'm all good. Nomad made good points about Simba Webster and Pettis making noise at practice. I heard reading a lot of the same stuff too. So those guys might be locks, but we'll see. Execution matters, like I said.
Yeah,
that's right.
I think the point that we've made, though, looking at this, is I don't see Harry making the roster after the injury.
And you know what? That's just if you were the GM, how would you go about that though?
Well, like Cliff Victoria says, put him on IR.
That's how you go about it.
I mean,
you just spent a 7th round pick for him. You got to do something.
I guess you kind of do, right?
I want my value.
He's worth something.
Leo Factor, welcome into the chat. Awesome to see you. He says your thoughts on Kevin Cha.
Mine or yours?
We kind of just talked on him. To be honest, I don't have any ground to stand on when it comes to talking about him. Like you seemed like you had more information on him than I do. 5'10", 166 pounds. That's like
I give
territory for me.
Let Nick get a bite of that. See if he knows anything on him.
Shoot, I don't. I'll be honest.
I do remember he was a UDFA, right? On Liberty, yeah.
I mean,
practice squad.
There's nothing. I've seen enough tape on him to know that there's nothing quite outstanding about him, and his skill sets. Nothing about his skill set, speed, body type. Nothing overwhelming about the guy. However, he's made it this far in the camp, and it's telling you something because a lot of guys like that, they get cut right away. You know, first time they go out there, see him move around. Okay, this guy can't play. He's out of here. But he's been there this long, so we'll see. I think they're keeping him up until preseason and see what he looks like out there on the field.
And Steve Sigmund says he's useless. And then Cliff Victoria says too small, will get hurt sooner or later. Yeah, I think I have to agree with both of you on that.
Yeah, man, don't cast him out just yet. Let's see what he's got first.
He could be a hell of a little gadget player, right?
Yeah, we haven't seen him suit up yet. But I'm just saying what I've seen on tape, and I've seen enough of his tape, and nothing really jumped out at me like other players have. He doesn't do anything that overwhelms you.
Right. He looked good in college, but this is the NFL.
At Liberty University. I've seen guys be successful from small schools like that. He could be one. I just don't imagine it happening here.
What are you drinking over there, Nick?
Some cheap ass beer.
No, I got Sprite and Tremana. So
what's that?
Tequila.
Ah.
Oh, okay. I never heard of that one. How much that hit you for?
It's like the average price, like 40 for a regular fifth.
What's the name of it again?
Tremana, so Tremana. The Rock owns that brand.
I'm gonna have to check it out. I like my tequila.
It's pretty good. I like it.
I think I'm sexy as fuck when I drink tequila.
Don't we all, right?
Shoot, something like that.
And so is everyone else.
You're damn right.
You're like, oh man, from back here, I thought you were a female. I'm sorry.
I'm telling you, tequila do things to you, man.
Leo Factor says, I like this wide receiver room better than last year's. Last year we had Robinson only on paper, and I couldn't agree more. I mean,
this receiver group is, and I don't want to look. I'm gonna temper my statement by saying this. As compared to receiver groups that we've had in the past 10 years, talent-wise and versatility-wise, this is the best one we've had. You got multiple size guys, multiple speed guys that can do multiple different things in an offense. So talent-wise, I don't think I don't care what offense you pulled up in the last 10 years, you won't find a group of receivers that's more versatile and talented than the one we have right now.
Mm-hmm.
What about when we had Marshall Jeffrey and Martellus Bennett? That technically counts in that 10-year window.
After that, what? Who was there after that?
No, after that, it's garbage. You're not wrong.
Right.
After that, it's trash.
Yeah. These are some – these dudes ain't – I mean, they haven't had the opportunity to really shine like other receivers in different teams, man. If they do what it looks like they can do, what I see on tape, there's no reason why these guys can't perform at all. Until they prove me wrong, I'm going to say they can. I'm not going to be that pessimist. Oh, these bunch of nobodies and they ain't do shit wherever they were. I don't want to hear all that shit.
I feel
That was yesterday. This is today.
Thank you, Nomad. It's getting old, right?
Yes.
It's like we're undefeated. Let's just be optimistic right now, damn it.
Until they give us a reason not to.
Exactly.
Man, and I'm going to say it again. I don't even know Swift Sports Network. I have no affiliation with them whatsoever, but anyone in here has got to check out the little video, the hour-long video that he made on Justin Fields. And if it doesn't excite you, then
we got to put Swift on here one of these days, man. That's my guy, man. He's an eternal optimist, just like we are.
Yes, he is, and that's right. That's my point. Is we have to remain optimistic, man. Undefeated. We have plenty of time to be shitty when the season goes on. We have plenty of time to be negative and talk about whatever went wrong in those games. But even then, I don't know how much we'll do that. I mean, there might be a couple of plays that pisses us off, but I think that for the most part, we're going to try to remain optimistic. That's just my goal here on this. We want everyone to. I know we've had years and years of just being beat down by the fucking Packers. Oh, Kitty, you got to cue the Packers banner now.
What kind of shit you got Kitty doing?
Warning, extreme Packers hatred. Okay. So we have been beat the fuck down by the Packers for so fucking long that it has caused the optimism of the Bears society to just they've worn us down, right? And I think that where we need to build our fucking optimism back from is we drafted what I think everyone here can agree is a future superstar quarterback, possibly an MVP one day for the Bears. You combine that with Aaron Rodgers on his way out. I mean, I hope he doesn't play until he's Tom Brady's age, but if he does, bring it on.
Not here, not in Green Bay.
If he does play until he's 45, then I say fucking bring it. I want to see Justin Fields take the NFC North from Green Bay and never give it back to Green Bay for the rest of my life. That's what I want to see.
You want me to help you with a point, man? And I told you, I think I told you this. I think I told you this.
I go on a diatribe about my fucking Packers hatred. I'm so
sick of it.
You gonna blow a few. But
damn it,
man, everything that goes up comes down. There's errors in football, and he's had his error.
I thought the same thing after Favre, though.
No, what goes up comes down. They had the luck of two Hall of Fame quarterbacks in a row, and naturally they're gonna beat us in more games. And it pisses everybody off. We hate it, but like I said, all good things come to an end. And you got to remember. I'm gonna get into the details of why I believe he's on cruise control. He didn't want to go back to that team.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted out of there. Am I not right? Or did everybody just forget that shit?
Yeah.
He didn't want to go back. And they forced him. They forced his hand, twisted his arm. And he said to himself, you know what? If they're going to make me play for this motherfucker, I'm going to go out there and light it up. And they're not going to be able to do it without me. And I'm going to put their ass over a barrel.
Mm-hmm.
Make them pay me more than they need to pay me. And they ain't going to be able to do shit else after I take all their money.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what he did. He hamstrung them. Aaron Rodgers is on cruise control, and we're gonna get in their ass this year. I guarantee you. Might split the matchup, but we're gonna get in it. Justin gonna get in that ass. He almost got him last year.
No, he did.
Close.
In Green Bay, right? We had that game, man. We had it.
Nagy didn't know what the hell he was doing. He was having too much fun to be a fucking coach.
He's getting in that ass this year. I'm telling you. They right for the picking.
I want to see him throw 7 fucking touchdowns against the Packers. That would be that's all I want. That'd be great.
Nick want to run it up, huh?
All right.
I want throw 7. Like I want him to like be cocky and say I own you and like just I want him to be that towards the Packers for the decade. It's our goddamn turn. I'm sick of being bullied, bro. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of having little brother syndrome. I want to be big bro. I want to be big bro. Damn.
I think Shorty wants to go take a shit in the middle of the field on that big G.
Oh man, I'll join you. We'll do a circle. We'll get a circle going.
Ty, that would be so much fun.
Make sure you eat Taco Bell before you do it.
No, White Castle.
Yeah, I'm having a crave case of myself. Fuck you mean? I'm devouring.
I told you about my White Castle experience last night or yesterday, Nomad. That's what I would want to do to the Green Bay field. It would be a White Castle after drinking all night experience, right all over the G.
Drink some cheap beer with that too.
Be happy to go to jail for it.
Waterworks all over that logo.
Listen, y'all gonna be out there with the squirts.
Listen.
Oh yeah.
Listen. There is. You guys are just kind of getting to know me. Like anyone that's in here that knows me, like Steve. There's 2 Steves that do. This guy right here.
What about him? What is he?
Okay, everyone knows how much I hate the fucking I am the Don Burr of Packers, only I don't do it to them, right? I don't waste my life to try to make their fans miserable, you know. But God, just too many years of Hall of Fame quarterbacks for me, and I'm over it. And every time I think they're going to actually win a game like the championship game in 2010, I actually had to get up in the morning and meditate for like 4 hours about the game and like try to find my happy spot, try to like replay everything in my head that could happen for and against the Bears. And when they came out in the second half, Cutler didn't come out and it was fucking Caleb Haney. I turned to my wife because we found a Bears bar in like Golden, Colorado. I turned to Kitty and I was like, all right, we're leaving. She's like, what? It's the second half just started. I'm like, it's Caleb Haney. We're going home. She's like, okay. We go home. It was
Good choice.
It was like the meditation caused the short circuit to happen in my head to not have me destroy the bar that I was in. It just, the short circuit happened and allowed me to just go, okay, let's just go home. I'm going to go lay down. And that was the first Super Bowl I never watched, Nomad and Nick. Never watched that Super Bowl. Don't even know anything about the game.
You know what, man? I know coaches like Flus. He's just like all the coaches that I was pretty much groomed by. A lot of the traits, a lot of the, detail-oriented stuff. And yeah, I could tell you really hate those motherfuckers, man.
No, guys, I try not to use the word hate.
No, you hate them. You hate them.
Hate is a very strong word that I don't think should be used. It's just kind of like
sometimes.
But I try not to use the word hate. Like I wouldn't say, "Oh, I hate my neighbor," or "I hate," I don't hate them, right? But I hate the fucking Packers with every ounce of my blood. And if Poles is correct and we can take the North from them and never give it back, it would be nothing better to the end of my life.
I'm kind of like that with the Patriots, man.
I want that.
I'm like that with the Patriots. I can't stand those motherfuckers. I don't like nothing about them. They cheating. And I'm a football traditionalist. And that cheating shit rubs me the wrong way. If you got to fucking cheat, then your ass ain't good enough. Mm-hmm. I ain't never respected the New England Patriots, and I never will. I got a friend that played for him, and he's told me things. Mm-hmm. That's a whole other story for a whole other day. And that's why I don't name drop, Shorty. That's why I don't name drop, because I'll get pissed off and fuck around and say something.
And Cliff Victoria
so you're not a big Tom Brady fan then, Nomad?
Yeah.
Man, I'll trip his ass down a flight of steps. Cheating motherfucker.
And Cliff Victoria says Packers were a dirty team for years. Easy to hate them. Like if you go back, Cliff mentioned earlier that he's a little bit older than us, so he has a lot more Packers hatred. But like you look at like the Walter Payton era, the 80, 85, even to the early 80s into the 90s, they were so dirty, so dirty to the Bears. They were cheap shotting. I've watched so much. I've gone on wormholes on this. A perfect block on Matt Suey. Peyton gets 4 yards. A safety comes flying out of nowhere when the play's over, and Suey's standing there, and he blows him in his head. And I'm assuming it probably gave him a concussion. Just slams him out of nowhere, right into his head, knocks him onto his ass. Another play where Peyton's running out of bounds to his right. The quarterback takes him, drives him all the way through the entire team on the sideline, over the bench, tries to throw him into the fucking industrial equipment behind the bench. But Peyton's like strong enough to like hold himself from like going over with him, and he kind of pulls him with him and uses their momentum to stop him. Like so many dirty plays. Charles Martin on Jim McMahon. He throws it was an interception. He threw a ball that ended up being an interception, and Charles Martin just 5 seconds later, granted he was on defense at that time, but you can't just pick someone up by their hips and slam them onto their goddamn shoulder. I mean, they have been dirty to the Bears the entire time the Bears were good. And when the Packers were good, and my entire fucking life since I've been 18, the Bears have not done anything like that to them.
Hold on now, Shorty. You know, Kitty's back there on the ones and twos, man. She gets first dibs when she got a question.
I think you have to remove the warning Packers hatred detected sign because I'm just gonna get more and more pissed off about him.
It triggered the shit out of you, man.
Well, I know. I told her to put it on because I was about to go on off. But there needs to be one thing that's established on this show that I have not done yet is I fucking hate the Packers as much as Don Burr hates the Bears.
You need to get that on. You just need to put that on a shirt and wear it every time we go on live, so you don't need to say it. They can see it.
Fuck the pack.
Fuck the Packers.
So let me tell Kitty, I threw a goddamn party when he left. I was happy as shit. I'm not kidding you. When I threw it, I told you I called my boys up and we threw a party down at the bar when Brady left.
Oh, when Brady left?
Yep. I was happy as fuck.
Why were you such a Brady hater?
Because he's a crybaby and a I want to call him a word, but I better not. But he just cries, man. Always. I hate crying. I mean, you just touch him and blow on him. He's crying to the refs. Mm-hmm. And he had something to do with that ball deflating shit. Don't let that shit fool you.
Yeah. He's a good quarterback though.
He's a great quarterback. Don't get me wrong. I'm a football guy. Now I recognize greatness. He's great. Yeah. I just don't like him. Mm-hmm. I do not like him.
I can see your perspective on that. Like, do you think some of him is a little bit fake?
He's such a man. Whining ass baby.
He's definitely a slimy dude. Like, there's definitely like I don't trust like him the person at all. Like,
right.
There's just something about him like that face just gives off like I don't know like South Park villain. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
at least as much
they're changing rules and shit to favor him. Can't hit the quarterback because of him.
Oh my God! Right? The fumble rule. The fumble. The fumble rule changed because of him. Oh God, you're right about that. Yeah. He changed the game. He changed the game with one stupid fucking pass in a playoff game. That was clearly a fumble. It was clearly a fumble.
That's why before the rule changes, everybody was trying to tear his ass up. Mm-hmm. They know that's true about him. Just pampered, man. Mm-hmm. Just pampered, and it's just not fair. His coach is a cheat, and he had advantages. One of these days, he's going to come out in the wash. You can't keep stuff that dirty quiet for that long. They cheated. I can point out games where you can see the defense knew the call.
Yeah,
and that's a straight up advantage for the quarterback. Mm-hmm. I mean, the offense. I mean, if they're going to get the ball and get them off the field and give him extra cracks, they're going to win games. I'm a really serious football person, and I hate cheating because if you're cheating, you ain't that good.
That's true.
Right. If you're cheating, I mean, they took what they didn't they do something with the Houston Astros when they were cheating in that World Series? They did something too, right?
I don't know that whole story. I heard about a little bit, but I don't know very much about it.
Did they take their title away from them?
Steve in chat would know more about that, but
I'm not a baseball follower, so I don't really know.
They didn't. My point being is that they didn't take away their championship, for their multiple cheating. No, not the Patriots. They didn't remove any of their. They didn't put any asterisks or anything from their championships after their Spygate and their Deflategate and their fucking whatever gate you can think of. All the other ones that they've had.
Let me tell you how. I got to tell you. I'll just give you a little insight into this, a little bit of this story, but I'm not gonna name drop. But my friend. Well, we ain't. I wouldn't say we're friends. We're acquaintances because we played on the same team. We got mutual friends. We were at a mutual friend's wedding, and I got his ass slap ass drunk. And I knew what I was doing. Got him drunk as shit.
Drinking the spill.
Yeah, and I got him over there. And at first, he wouldn't say nothing. He just would look at me and just be like, "Man." He just kept saying that, man. And the drunker and drunker I got him, he just started to tell me little things, and then it just confirmed what I thought. There was some cheat. That whole organization is a cheat.
That's crazy.
They keep finding ways to cheat. You stop them in one area, they find another way to get you. They find loopholes.
Right. So how how many asterisks does that put behind Tom Brady's Super Bowls?
At least 3 or 4 of them.
I mean, if they go on to win 7 Super Bowls with, 5 Super Bowls with Mac Jones,
my guy got 3
really?
of them with him. My guy got 3 of them with him, so at least them that many.
Wow.
Damn.
Wow.
Yeah, they ain't shit, man. The whole organization stinks.
Now you got me looking at that roster for that 3-year period. For that.
I'll say which 3-year dynasty there, the early 2000s or the late
2010s?
2010s?
No, it's getting a little too close, man. I'm gonna stop there because if he was to actually listen to this somehow, I don't know if he would. I don't know if he get into this kind of stuff, but yeah, he'd be like, "Come on, man," and I've said enough already.
Yeah.
No, man, this would have to be so fucking big for that to happen. That
it's going to one of these days. It's gonna come out.
Well,
totally.
if that's the case, then I doubt he's going to be diving back at 2 years into episodes to find this one. So you're all good. That's what I like about yours. You're not amenity. It's kind of it's interesting. It adds to the intrigue of our conversations because just some of the things that you have insight on and clearly knowledge of, but remaining anonymous is pretty cool.
Yeah, when you know, I just know a couple handfuls of guys, not like 20 and 30 people, just like 7 to 8 people that played, and you get a wealth of understanding of how things really go on behind the scenes, and that's where I speak from. A lot of my own experiences, but a lot of that stuff comes from the stuff they tell me, and it's a lot sometimes.
Speaking of the Patriots, what do you guys think about Leo Factor says we play the Patriots? You got us winning or losing that game?
Busting their ass.
Yep.
They're not going to be as good, and I think the Belichick era is on its way out.
I do too.
Without Tom Brady, Mac Jones is overrated. The reason why it looked like he was very successful last year was the formations. He was in 12 and 13 personnel, which is 2 and 3 extra tight ends for blocking. Had the Bears gone that route, Justin would have looked a whole lot better than he did last year.
Right.
And so one of these days they got to come out of that and spread out that offense, and we'll find out what Mac Jones has with I forget the guy's name that's the offensive coordinator, just got kicked out of Detroit.
Oh, Patricia.
Yeah, Patricia. What's he gonna do for him?
Wait a second.
Shit.
Patricia was a defensive coordinator for the Patriots.
Exactly. With a damn pencil in his head.
Wait, he's playing offensive coordinator now?
Yeah. They have him as offensive assistant and Joe Judge.
They're being all vague. They're being all vague with the titles, isn't they?
Yeah, they're being very quiet about it. Very quiet.
I didn't notice any of that information.
That's why I think they'll struggle. I don't like Matt Patricia at all.
Cliff is saying Trump made a statement. Find out what he said, Cliff.
Shit. I mean, we've already...
You know he's going to be lying, so just know that ahead of time.
Exactly. I mean, we've already gone off topic about that. We can at least give updates on it.
Yeah, right?
He's crying. It sounds like he's crying. Well, quit whining. You shouldn't have been a criminal. Talking about nothing has ever happened to a president. You're crying. You shouldn't have been a criminal.
Yeah. I guess you can't go and shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and get away with it, right?
Woe is me. Woe is me. I did nothing wrong. Why are you attacking me?
It'll all come back to pay for you in the end.
Cheeto skin motherfucker.
Same damn color as my
Cheeto
jersey.
Skin. That's a good one. Cheeto skin. It's like he's just eating Cheetos and just wiping it all over his face when he's done. I gotta make myself look tan.
The Cheeto King.
All right, not to get too political, but
all right, let's get back to some Bears, man. Let's get back to some Bears.
So
what 2K?
So what were we talking about? Where were we at? So we were talking about. We haven't even gotten into running backs yet. You're going off on the wide receivers.
Is that the next topic?
I think so.
Yeah. Let's. I bet you Nick got plenty to say about that.
What do you have to say about the running back room, Nick?
I mean, I don't want to start. I feel a little on the spot doing that, but I mean, I can go ahead and get it started. So, I mean, our running back room is very underrated, to say the least. A lot of people look at stats and numbers. They go off of fantasy value, Madden statistics, or sorry, not Madden statistics, Madden ratings as to how good running backs are. So they see David Montgomery's got an 88 speed. Oh, he's slow as shit. This guy is, a bum. They don't watch the tape. They don't even watch Bears games to see the dude break multiple tackles, have to run around a dumpy offensive line with people falling over, getting bull rushed. They don't see any of that crap. Or if they do watch the games or tape, whatever, they don't know what the hell they're looking at, and they'll say stuff like, "Oh, David Montgomery's not that good. He's expendable." Our other guys we have, Damian Williams was better. Khalil Herbert was better. No. I mean, Khalil Herbert's good. I'm not saying he's not, but Montgomery's up here, okay? Just because Khalil Herbert can sprint out of the right when he gets the ball into the hole doesn't mean he's faster. He just sprints to his hole faster. Montgomery's a Le'Veon Bell type back. He lets that shit develop behind the line. So if the line has nothing going, then he's not going to unfortunately get anything going. Mm-hmm. But both backs, Herbert, Montgomery, are going to be a beautiful 1-2 punch. And I really can't wait to see how they utilize them. I really want to see if they have them both on the field at the same time in some type of like split back formation. Have one guy on like split out in the slot or even on the outside, like by the numbers. I'm just really interested in what they have going on.
Do you want to add to that first, Nomad, or should I?
You go ahead and get him.
I like that. What I like is the 1-2 punch that Montgomery is shifty. He's able to. He doesn't necessarily have to take the gap that he's supposed to be running in. Right. He's shifty enough to use.
He's very agile. For being a slow back, he's very, very shifty and twitchy. And that's the things that people don't look at. Like, if you go back and just watch him run, you see what type of back he is. He's a fantastic running back. And I'm going to be a big fan of his whole career. No matter if he's a Bear for life or if he goes somewhere else. I like running backs. Running backs and edge rushers are my two favorite positions. And so when I see David Montgomery, I see that elite running back. I'm not saying he's the next Walter Payton, the next LT, LaDainian Tomlinson, but he's got those skills that remind me of him. I don't like saying players are the next insert great player. That's not a fair expectation, but you can say they have traits of them. That's perfectly okay.
How did I know Nick had a mouthful when it came to those running backs?
I love running backs, bro.
What I like is the change of pace where Monty can hit multiple holes within that scheme, and then it seems like Khalil is just going to like hit the gap he's supposed to go into as fast as he can.
He'll hit it running.
That change of pace is going to,
if you will.
Steve Sigmund has a mouth zipped shut here image, which that
must not like the running back room.
Well, no, he just needs to get his ass on this podcast.
What's he saying? What's he trying to say?
Nothing. He just made a mouth zipped closed face. Like he doesn't. I'm not going to say anything about this. And
it ain't that bad. Come on now.
I'd love to see what he has to say next.
Your running back is only as good as your line is. If your line's not good, your running back won't be good. Unless you've got a unicorn.
Unzip your mouth, Steve, and say what you got to say.
I gotta you know what? I'm a lightly touch. I think we know what we're getting with David Montgomery and Khalil Herbert. We know what we're getting. They've proven what they have. I'll tell you a couple of reasons why. I tell you, Montgomery, and you'll probably see this year because they're going to ask him to do a whole lot of different things. But Montgomery's hands are better than
he's got great hands.
Than we know. Yeah,
he's got great hands.
I never really realized it until I started watching a little practice film where they're doing one-on-ones and different things like that. I was like, man, he's got natural hands.
The Tampa Bay game in 2020, he beat someone on a one-on-one, like 50-50 go get him grab ball, clean catch, brought it down. Like he's got hands. Like he
natural hands
on him. People
agree.
snooze on him.
I agree.
Snooze.
I would love to see what Steve Sigmund has to say. Get your ass in here with us and debate your opinion on the average running back room.
Man, David Montgomery is, and you that what Nick just said about that catch that he made. Why in the Lord's name wouldn't you take advantage of that if you're Matt Nagy? Why not give him more cracks at that? Why wouldn't you? You see the guy has natural hands. He's an easy catcher. Get him out of the backfield, put him out there, and let him make plays.
Right.
That's just stupid. I can't even think of 3 catches that he made last year.
I think he had one in the Browns game, but I could be wrong.
I mean, his passes aren't standing out to me, but his runs are. So,
and I think Khalil Herbert he's got a lot to be desired, and I think from what I've heard from him is that he's working on his catching ability. And I don't think his hands are as natural as nowhere near as natural as David Montgomery's. And another advantage David has on Khalil Herbert, another thing he's working on is his pass protection. And I said something about that in the first podcast. David Montgomery will square your ass the F up. Come through that hole, and he's standing there. He's squaring you up. Mm-hmm. And Khalil Herbert has to get that.
Right.
That'll come with reps and time.
Yep, reps and time. But
adequate coaching.
Mm-hmm.
That's the big key.
It's the other two backs. It's the other two backs that are really intriguing to me. And I touched on Treston Ebner. Yeah. Go ahead, man. Get on those two, Nick. What you see?
With Ebner, I'm curious to see. A lot of people are like making the comparison that he can be that Tariq Cohen type of back. And I don't know too much about the other two backs that much, just kind of like looking up little like clips here and there after we drafted them and then trusting my like people that I listen to on their evaluations and stuff. But with Ebner, I really hope that he can unleash something that we haven't had really since a healthy Cohen, which is like that running back who we can go out there and have grab like quick slant balls, swing passes out the backfield. Just a guy who helps, like, it's just another wrinkle to keep the defense honest, like you would say.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
What Ebner brings to this offense has me very intrigued because there's a lot of different ways they can use him. I know he's wearing number 31, which kind of makes it appear to me like he's a bigger running back, like in the Rashaan Salam mold. But he's not that size. He's 20 pounds lighter and a couple of inches shorter. But he just when you see him, maybe it's just because he's wearing a double-digit number. I don't know. But when you see him on the field and he's catching a ball, like I remember thinking, who the hell is that? That guy's that big dude. They look him up. It's Treston Ebner, and you're like, oh, what? You look up his size. You're like, oh, he's not that big of a guy, but he's just like. I don't know. He's bulky. He just he stands out among the running backs to me.
You want to, this is when I see a player, I was doing this stuff in real time when they was drafting these guys. I was looking at that film simultaneously. And usually what I do, I'll see a player and typically they'll remind me of somebody, usually. Every now and again, you'll see one that's just a one of one, and he don't remind you of anybody. He's just his own person.
Right.
But first thing came to mind when I seen Treston Ebner was, I don't know, you guys, I'm old enough to remember a guy named Warwick Dunn. Remember him?
Mm-hmm.
Came out of Florida State, played for the Bucks. Am I right? The Bucks and then the Falcons, maybe?
The Bucks. I don't remember where he played after that, but he played most of his career at the Bucks, yeah.
You look at just type in, do a YouTube search one of these days. Type in Warwick Dunn catching the ball or something like that. Out of the backfield or anything like that. And then go watch Treston Ebner tape. And you tell me. Weapon. Absolute weapon.
That's what I'm envisioning of Treston Ebner out of the backfield.
He's a weapon. He's not gonna, he can threaten you I mean, you can line him up in the backfield, and he can come out of the backfield and threaten you. But if you take him out and go empty, that puts a linebacker on the spot. Especially if you got Valus out there.
And Cliff Victoria says Ebner equals Kareem Hunt.
Ebner and Kareem Hunt, man, come on, man, that's a bad comparison.
I think Montgomery is more like Kareem Hunt.
I think he's comparing the speed, maybe.
No. Nick ass got him drunk. He over there drinking that tequila. He tripped.
He's on. Where was it? He's on shot number 2.
He's feeling that Tremana.
Nick got Cliff folded up in here.
Hey man, I'm on drink 2 as well, Cliff.
Let's see. We have a couple more things here in chat I wanted to pull up. There you go. Steve Phillips says Dunn was a beast. Who you're trying to compare him to? A little different in size than compared to Ebner, but
Ebner's a little bigger.
Yeah, bigger, but the speed is there, and I think the weaponry that he's going to bring to the team out of the backfield, things like that.
Steve got that right though. Warrick Dunn was a beast.
Mm-hmm.
Absolute beast.
Yes, he was. And J2K says Ebner was much faster, but Dunn was smooth.
I don't know about that. You have to prove that to me. Who said that? J2K?
Yeah.
Show me.
Yeah.
Show me some numbers or something.
Yeah. And Cliff wants to make it known that it's a lot less, or it's a lot more than 2 tequilas that puts him on his ass. So I hope so, Cliff. I hope
don't eat that damn worm, man.
Yeah, just don't eat the worm.
No, I want to see how J2K where he got that from. He must have got that from some kind of looked at a stat or something. But I don't know about that.
Well, let's look up what Warrick Dunn's 40 was. 4.28.
Huh?
Warrick Dunn is a 4.28 40. And I think Treston Ebner was we'll find out here in a second.
He wasn't that fast.
4.3.
He's fast, but he wasn't that fast.
Sub 4.5. So, I mean,
both of them have game speed, and we discussed that. They have in-game speed.
In-game speed.
Yeah, that's what matters.
And we talked about how difficult it is to get off the line too in that 40. We talked about how it's
40 is not a good measure for speed. It's not.
No. Yeah. Did you see the show yesterday, Nick?
Yeah, I was watching most of it. I was running around doing errands, but I had it on.
I kind of talked about that.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see that part when I was talking about I think the combine is just a meat market and all these metrics from the 40 times and all, it's just a waste.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I was wrong on that, but I agree with that absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, you don't get anything accomplished with straight line speed. That doesn't really tell you anything. Like, if anything, that shows you how fast a running back can go if he breaks off all the tackles, like, and there's no one there. Like, that's all that shows you.
Well, Nomad,
it doesn't matter, like, in the 6 seconds per play, like, how fast you run a fucking 40 yards. That does not matter.
Sure don't.
Nomad, ask him what you asked me about the 40. Like, about football speed. So, what define football speed, Nick?
Football speed? So that kind of depends on like the aspect of the game you're talking about, because it kind of varies per position. But I think really like it just comes down to like get off and like again, it kind of depends, like, because like football speed, like for a pass set, depends if you want if you're doing like a quick curl or something like that, like how fast can you get in between like 2 defenders, like if it's like a cover 2 defense or something like that, so you gotta get in between the 2 linebackers, like it's a timing thing. So I guess really that comes off the get off as well, then like how you're getting off your position, like stance and all that crap.
And you asked me the question, Nomad, but I never really asked you, like, what do you consider football speed?
Like I was saying, for me, I gotta revert back to my DB days and receiver days, and that's the person. If whoever's lined up in front of you, if you're a DB, can you match that person's speed? No matter what 40 time you ran. Can you match that person's speed? That's football speed. That means anybody in front of me, you're not getting past me. I don't care how fast they tell me you are. That's football speed to me.
I like that answer better than mine. Mine was football speed is when you're running for your damn life. You're going to run a lot faster than you are at just doing it at a timed 40, trying to get that perfect stance and you're shaking, trying to get out of it. That's a lot different than running for your damn life, right?
You know who got some football speed? And I hate to mention his name because he's in a tough spot, but from what you're talking about, that's Tariq Cohen, because he was hauling ass trying to get to them sidelines. I promise you that. Hauling ass.
Oh, yeah.
He was east and west. That's the east and west running this mother, something I ever seen in my life.
So Kitty is saying that during Friday's practice, Ebner had a few explosive runs during 11 on 11, including his run captured by the Bears' social media where he made some elusive moves en route to the end zone. I did not see that. I wish I would have. Thank you.
I know what she's talking about.
Thank you for making me look bad, Kitty.
I know exactly what she's talking about.
I wish I would have seen that, but
no, she's right. She's right. He's so dynamic, man. I mean, he's not one of those backs that's limited. He's just big enough to where you can line him up in the backfield and call, inside runs, and he can run just as well on the inside as he can on the outside. Split him out and let him run routes. He's just as effective, or maybe even more effective out there. So yeah, he's a weapon. He's making that team. I promise you that.
Oh, damn right, he's making the team. When I think of offensive things I can do with Trust and Ebner, he better damn well make the team. I know that much.
You see how interactive this thing gets when we talk about Bears. Look, they're into it, man.
Oh hell yeah!
I love it.
Me too.
Because we got a lot more to go.
Oh shit, we do. We're only on like the third subject of what the topics you wanted to talk about.
Get it cranking.
This is what makes it fun, man. Just gabbing.
This is what
Bears.
we fiend for this stuff.
And we're not all right. We're not all wrong, but we're having fun talking about it, and that's what makes networking out like this with Bears fans so much fun.
And it's bringing people together.
Leo, hella interesting preseason. I promise you that.
Leo Factor says, "I'm excited for Saturday. Maybe Ebner makes a play. I am
cool.
too. I am too.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Sure.
No, you go ahead.
No. I was gonna say, my preseason pick to click. I think it's gonna be Darrington Evans.
Explain.
Well, I just like I say, man, go back to the film and look at him. He's had the misfortune of being injured, in his Tennessee day. I'm pretty sure they didn't want to let him go, but he just wasn't healing fast enough. Usually that's what happens in situations like his, because he flashed when he was at Tennessee. He just couldn't get over the injury bug, and they were just, all right, we just got to move on. Let's bring somebody else in, and hopefully we put him on the wire and he gets a little healthy and we can bring him back. But he wasn't out there that long before the Bears scooped him. And you just go look at his tape and his film when he was at Appy State, and I'm telling you, he, out of all the backs that we have, and this is saying a lot, he is the most explosive of the bunch.
I'm looking up as you're talking.
He's the most explosive of the bunch. When I tell you he's a home run hitter, when he gets a crease, it's bye-bye.
Mm-hmm.
It's over with. He accelerates down that mud, and he's gone.
I'm trying to find his 40-yard dash. Not that it matters. We were just talking about football speed.
Right. Just watch that tape. And you watch enough of that, and they ran the exact same scheme that we're doing now. If you look at it closely, that's what they're doing. So he knows how to run in that blocking style effectively. He knows what he's doing. And if he sees a crease or a cutback lane, you can kiss his ass goodbye.
And he's young. He's only been in the league for 2 years. This is
very young.
Yeah. This is his third year in the league.
But he's a perfect example of why I say that we people talking about rebuilds, man, you can retool your team just because of the amount of talent that's out there on the waiver wire. Sometimes you can turn that thing around in a snap, man.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a perfect example of that. You get a guy with that kind of talent and you just scoop him off the waiver wire. Come on, man.
And he's only been in the league for 2 years. It's not like he's failed significantly anywhere else, you know?
Watch him get it
green.
in the preseason. You watch.
Did he sign a 1-year deal? I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't know. Probably did. That's pretty much been the standard for this crew.
Yeah. It just seems like someone with only limited experience in the league like that, they might want to give him. Well, last year he was injured, it looks like. So
yeah, with his injury history, they got every ground to stand on and say, all right, we just want to offer you 1 year, see what you do.
And that's been one of the best things about this administration so far with polls is get those short-term contracts, 1-year contracts, prove-it deals. You do something this year, we'll give you a contract.
Yeah, he's legit, man.
Kitty wants to know who's going to have the first preseason game against the Chiefs. Who's going to have a breakout performance? I mean, it's kind of hard to say that in a preseason game, but I mean things. What would you guys be looking for in that?
I'm looking at a running back, I'm looking at a couple of receivers. I'm looking at Darrington Evans, probably Ebner, and I'm thinking St. Brown and Tajay Sharp will show you something.
Mm-hmm. How much you think St. Brown's going to play?
Probably not much. I think they'll probably put, because they know that the offense need is as much live fire as they can get before the season, but not too much to where you putting guys in jeopardy.
Mm-hmm.
You probably will see them out there maybe a quarter.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say the first game you might see 3 to 4 series, however long that takes.
You think he'll be out there with the second team?
Who?
Like the second team quarterback? ESB? We're talking about ESB, right?
I would. It's possible. It's possible, but if I was a coach, I wouldn't put him out there that long.
I don't know. It might help the second string quarterback, but again, he could be a big part to this offense this year, so you might not want to.
You kind of know what you got with him, and you want to see these other guys get a clean look. It's a lot of other guys that need that look more than he does.
Cliff Victoria says Flus says Bears will be playing starters for a quarter plus.
Is that what he said?
According to Cliff, yeah, I didn't hear him say that, but I mean, I believe Cliff. He's a pretty big Bears fan, so he might have seen the clip in the video that one of us missed. But
I didn't catch that, but I wouldn't be surprised.
If they did, I wouldn't be surprised. It is a brand new offense.
Those guys that they need time to get live gameplay, and they need a lot to look at on tape so they'll know what to do. It's mostly you'll look at however long they play out there, the first squad. It's all about getting that game tape and going and refining things off of that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what that's all about. They need live fire, and they need that tape to go and get better.
Mm-hmm. You would think that you'd want to have some of your starting wide receivers that know the offense out there for your second string quarterback, just to kind of help them get into a little bit of a rhythm too, and then
that's the main thing: get the rhythm and the timing down.
Pull them out after a couple of plays, and ESP. Then you can put in, not that Harry would be healthy, but you could put in Tarjay Sharp in that spot, or whoever else is going to be filling that spot, considering the injuries.
Pettis could be a dark horse out there.
Pettis could be a dark horse, yeah. He's played well for the Giants, so I'm not counting him out as someone to make the team potentially.
What else they got in the chat?
J2K says Gordon going against the twos is going to be fun to watch. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so too.
I think he's got soft tissue shit going on, man, because he's missing a lot of practice lately. He's probably got some hamstring shit going on more than likely, and they probably and also, I said this at on the last podcast. They're buckling certain guys down to give make sure certain guys get a clean look. So it probably looks like an injury to us or something like that, but it's more about the coach. He's sure about what he has in certain guys, and he's letting these other guys get a clean look and give them every opportunity to see what they got.
And J2K is wondering who's your guys' top non-starters you're most interested in watching in the preseason game? This first one.
Non-starter? Oh, for me, it's easily Darrington Evans.
Mm-hmm. How about you, Nick?
Dominique Robinson.
Ooh,
that was a subject. Remember?
Ooh,
that's a good one. Yeah. Okay.
I guess we might as well go on into it, and then I guess I segued into it perfectly.
There you go. Yeah, perfect. Because
you want to do that?
Yeah, sure.
So remember, I want to ask Nick too, and you, Shorty. Remember all the noise you were hearing, when they first got into OTAs and all this stuff you was hearing. Every time you turn around, it was Dominique Robinson this, Dominique Robinson that. Remember?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Since the pads came on, how much have you heard his name?
None.
You haven't heard it yet.
What does that tell you?
Well, right. It tells you he's got some work to do with the pads on, right?
I knew he was green.
He can make Braxton Jones look bad all he wants without pads on, right? But you put the pads on, different story.
Chime in there, Nick.
Yeah, I mean, when you have the pads on, that's what separates the guys who are just good athletes versus the football players. And that's the one thing with Dominique Robinson is he's a very, very green football player. So he's not a true established defensive end. But I am curious to see how he does as far as how's the coaching done him well, so on and so forth. But I think this guy's going to be like a quote-unquote project, if you will. Like I think it might take him a while to get going to the point of him being very, very green as a football player. Because he was a quarterback, then wide receiver, and then played defensive end or whatever. So it's a lot of adjustment, as far as having to play football, like the position of football,
Mm-hmm.
I got 100%. I'm 100% sure that they have a gem in him. No question about it. From everything I've heard and everything I've seen he's a gem and he's just getting polished right now. Mm-hmm. But the point I would make about that as a person that's gone through enough college camps, there is an absolute advantage for a defensive lineman when you're in shorts and a t-shirt, when you're in helmets.
Oh yeah.
Absolute advantage. Ain't really nothing they can lock on to.
Right.
And so he's going to look great when they're out there in shorts and a helmet. And that's why I get pissy in chat sometimes because I see all that stuff and, Dominique Robinson is dominating and he's dominating this offensive. That offensive lineman doesn't have a chance against a defensive lineman in shorts. But the minute you put them pads on, that's when you start seeing a ball player.
Yep. That's what separates them.
Yep.
I mean, once you put the helmet on your head, your perspective is different, right? So then you add all the pads you have on your shoulders and your arm, your arm movement is different in your pads because you can't get your arms. I mean, how many times have we seen the pad come off and go down around the jersey go down around the pad and nobody can get that up. They can't get that up.
You need someone else to do it for you.
Right. You got to have someone else coming up.
Hey, bro, fix this. Like,
yeah. So
and the one thing too is like once you put just the helmets on, just the helmets alone, the true football player's aggression goes up 10%.
Mm-hmm.
As of like I didn't play a lot of football. I only played in high school, but I can just tell you, like from seeing like the people who are true players versus just athletes and so on and so forth, even just the helmets, they were like, "Let's fucking go." Mm-hmm. And then just the shoulder pads, they were already at 100.
Right.
They didn't need the bottoms at that point.
So people, so we don't have to go through this next year on this pod. Then when they're putting on shorts and stuff like that, that's not football, man. That is not football. That's just people getting out there and the coaches getting it. Yeah, it's just coaches getting a good look at people's fluid movement ability, seeing who can move well here or there. But you don't know anything until you put on the uniform. Till you pad up. You don't know jack shit about nothing.
You're no different than me and my buddies playing sandlot football every Sunday.
Yeah.
he is, but to back him up, Dominique Robinson is going to be up there in the conversation of one of the steals in the draft at some point. Because I think he's that talented. He reminds me a little. He's like a mix of Derek Thomas and Javon Curse in his ability.
Yep. And Kitty's pulling up here for us. 6'5", 253.
That's a big dude, and he's all muscle. All muscle. That dude don't have no fat on him.
Crazy.
Dude doesn't have no fat on him.
He's going to be one of those guys by game 7. I think he's going to, when they put him out there in spot play, he's going to start picking up his game, and he could end up with 5 sacks.
You know what to look for? A guy like that. This might sound weird to y'all, but a guy like that, just look at his butt and the drive that he's got. He's strong in his lower body. I mean, really strong in his lower body, and he's going to be able to. They call it speed to power. So everybody's going to fear his speed, but not pay much attention to his power, because I guess, it's going to kind of be overlooked until he runs through a few people.
Yeah.
But he's definitely got the body type. His lower body is strong as shit. I seen it at the Senior Bowl. I was watching that close.
And if he can learn that bend from Robert Quinn,
oh my God.
Woo.
What better guy, because he's a lot like Quinn.
Right.
Yeah.
What better guy to learn from?
Right. Could be exciting.
Telling you. What you got next?
From Mac, and Gibson learned from Mac.
Wait a
now
minute.
Robinson learned from Quinn. You got 2 young studs there.
Yeah.
We got a lot of stuff in chat here, Nomad.
Yeah, I think we got to mess with that.
I got one from Cliff. It's kind of off subject, so we can pull that for later. We got one from J2K. Snowden was last year's rookie defensive end everyone was excited for. Seems like we overvalue the new guy without even seeing them play.
I wasn't too big on Snowden. Everyone just liked him because he's tall and long. But to me, all that reminds me of is Leonard Floyd, and I was never the biggest Leonard Floyd fan. So
I'm like Nick on that. I wasn't. I mean, we got the kind of coaches that are traits guys. They like traits, and he has traits. Does he have the ability to move and perform on the level that he needs to be able to make a 53-man roster?
Right.
Don't see it yet. He can prove me wrong, but I don't see it yet.
Yeah. It's cool he's 6'8", but can he make plays? Can he play football? Can he play defensive line?
Right. We'll see.
How do you break off blocks? How are your hands?
Right.
He's one of those guys that's going to have ample opportunity to prove that he can play this game, and we'll find out soon.
You're talking about Floyd. That was like one of the things I scouted him as. Is he looked more like a wide receiver than he did a defensive end, right, or an outside linebacker.
Yeah, he was really, really skinny.
Yeah, and
he had potential, but he didn't have good hands.
Yeah,
I didn't like his hands at all. He tried to bull rush. He was not strong enough for that. When you're Khalil Mack, you can do that.
Right.
When you're Robert Quinn, Akeem Hicks, you can do that. Because they got the lower body strength. He didn't have that. Combines should have squats, not benches.
Some guys come in the league, and this is probably a really good nugget to put out there. But guys come in the league, you got to remember, if Nick's 25, so he knows. You coming into the league at an age where you're starting to slightly mature. You're starting to slightly mature, and for some of these guys, if they get the opportunity, it might take them 2 or 3 years, or maybe 4,
even longer,
to refine themselves and grow up and become a man. And that was important when I heard Getsy talking about Equanimous St. Brown. I can imagine that he hit that growth spurt somewhere at that last season, and he saw it in him and said, "You know what? I think it's his time."
Step.
Yeah, I think it's his time. And that's a lot of guys that are coming into the league.
And
sometimes
that's why I like
take them a
Bayless
minute.
too.
Yeah,
right.
Because Bayless reminds me of myself. In a way, where it took him a few years to get his shit together, but he's finally got it going. I feel that on a fucking spiritual level, as far as like me and my like maturity going. Like I'm 25 and I'm finally getting it going. If I was an NFL player drafted at 19, oh, forget about it. I would have been, bless his soul, I would have been like Dwayne Haskins. I would have been going from team to team because I just would have been a wreck, immature. You know, bless his soul.
I don't think any of us was shit at 19. We just thought we were.
Exactly.
That kind of led me to like a side question, like Nomad, like what do you think? I have a number in my head because I'm older. I'm pretty sure I'm older than you, but I'm definitely older than you, Nick. Like Nomad, what do you think is the time where you become a man? Like what age?
You know what? I've had many conversations about this, and I can tell you from experience for me. I started to become a man, I believe, around 28. Around 28. By the time I hit 30, I felt like I was starting to refine myself as a man and becoming a better man, well, I would say. So, and I tell my female family members, and I tell them all the time, they will tell you, he's going to tell me never to get married to a man that is less than 28 years old because he's not a man yet. Mm-hmm. He's trying to figure out how to be one. And they listen to me for the most part.
Yeah. How about you, Nick? Do you feel like, you said you're 25. Do you feel like you're a man? Like you feel like you're a grown ass man now?
Not yet. No, I'm still going. I still got ways to go. Like, I mean, like to be a man, like I think there's a lot of these things you have to like go through experience wise for that, because being a man, like there's just things you have to know, you just have to know. Like I can't really like explain it more than that, because it's just one of those things like once you know it type of ordeal. You have to go through life experiences, like if someone's, lived their life in a bubble their whole life, it's going to take them a long ass time to really get that step going because they haven't experienced jack shit, The earlier you're able to experience things, I think the better for kind of that reason. But like, I'm not saying, do terrible things, but like, you know what I'm saying? Just live life.
Right. It's kind of like
you need ownership and stuff like that, it's if you're, like owning a house or apartment and so on and so forth, like those are things that takes maturing and growing and stuff like that. That's stuff that people aren't doing until their mid-20s and stuff like that, unless you're lucky enough to move out super early, I don't say lucky, but you're fortunate enough or whatever.
Well, it's all about your life.
It's hard to afford it.
Yeah.
I'll tell you from my experience, I'll tell you right now, I wasn't worth shit to a woman until I was at least 28 years old. I was just a whore. I just wouldn't. I would not stop running around, man. And I'll be honest with you, it took me to get my heart broken. I was always on the offensive. I was out there breaking hearts. I'm a college boy, high school boy, giving out autographs at 15 and 16 years old. I was big bubble-headed motherfucker.
Oh yeah,
ego was huge as hell, and went through college. And I came out of that shit doing the same stuff. And somebody I really cared about, she stoned me, man. She stoned me and broke my heart. And I said from that point on, I will never, ever, I'm going to treat a woman the way I want to be treated. And that's when that was about 28 years old. And that's when I turned that corner.
Yeah, that's a great point. Great point.
That's right around the same age I was thinking when I asked the question. I mean, I think it's late 20s, you start to become a man. And then as you start to hit, when you're in your 40s and you look back at when you became a man, you recognize that area right around that gray area of the late 20s where you're like, that's when I started to actually like put some shit together. I became more mature. I stopped fucking around as much as I did before. You're kind of like looking at life from a different lens. And so to the point to my question was just about what we expect from these young players when they come into the league. It's so young, and you look at someone like Justin Fields at 22 years old who's doing the shit that he's doing with his maturity level, and you go, holy shit, that's on a different level. Kyler Gordon, players like that. And the other ones like Tevin Jenkins, they might take a little bit more time to develop. They had a lot of fun when they were younger, and they weren't thinking about being an adult, And some people were thinking about being an adult when they were 10.
Yeah.
I think Tevin is having a growth spurt right now.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's got a lot of stuff going on in his personal life, it sounds like.
Yeah.
And but we'll say that for last. Say that for last, because that's a rant.
Cliff, you make an excellent point here.
What was he saying?
He said when my dad died, that completed the final grow up process. That was in
I bet that would.
And that really, truly, and entirely did it for me too, Cliff. Because my dad died when I was 36.
Oh, wow.
I'm 47 now. And I remember just going through the mourning process was like, I can't ask my dad any more of these questions anymore. I have no one to lean on for, hey, Dad, how do I do the tile in my kitchen? Like my dad was in construction his whole life. He could do anything. He could build a house from scratch. You go to him and like, Dad, how do I do this? Oh, let me show you. He teach me how to wire a two.
That shit's priceless, Shorty.
Yeah,
absolutely is.
Right, all that shit. And
absolutely is.
When he was gone, it was like, now I have no one else to fall back on but myself, and I have to take everything that he has given me in this life and use it to be a man with. And that truly is when I did become a man myself. Yeah, for sure. It's
That's priceless, man. I love that. I love that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I was one of those people that didn't. I have a father figure in my grandfather. He played that role, but my dad he wasn't in my life at all. And when he did pass, it was like I didn't feel anything because I was like, I think I was 24 or 25 when he passed, and I didn't feel nothing, man. You can't develop feelings for somebody you don't know.
Right.
I didn't go to the funeral. And my mother was all mad at me. I'm like, why? What are you so mad at me about? I mean, I don't know that guy. You know him, but I don't. Why do I care? But I don't have any regrets about that. But he was just he was doing his own thing, and that was more important than raising a kid. And that made my grandfather and my mother and all those other people play the role that he was supposed to play. So I had to learn how to be a man kind of on my own.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, you were falling back on your grandfather at least.
Right? Yeah, he was there. He was there, but they've got 10 kids.
Yeah.
A lot on their plates.
Right.
I had my grandfather too. He recently passed. Like, he wasn't my dad's dad. He was my mom's dad, but my dad's dad passed in the 80s. But I did have my grandfather to lean on, but he wasn't anywhere like, the same quality of. He couldn't do the things my dad could do, But I always had at least my grandpa to lean on for. Hey, what would you do for the? He passed just in the last year and a half, and I lost that as well. So, like the final step of like, there's no, thank you, it's okay. He was old. He was okay.
Yeah.
But it's like that final step where you have no male role models in your life left to ask any questions, and you're the next one in line.
Yeah.
And you have to be the one to answer the questions for anyone else below you in your family, because you're the male patriarch or whatever, if you will, role model, and you have to rely on yourself for all that. And that's what's really the biggest part of becoming a man. So for some people it might be younger, like for you, Nomad. For me it might have been in my late 20s or my mid 30s for all I can actually digest it to be. Nick, it's a little bit different for you too. So
yeah,
it's just to the point, like, it's for all the players that are on the team. They all have their own different life experiences and their own different levels of turning into a man at a different time. And that's what's, about being a great head coach, is balancing that. If you can balance all of that, you can get the best out of your players.
Like my uncle used to tell me all the time. He said, listen, man, and you don't never feel sorry for yourself. He said, you got to go through it in order to get to it. Mm-hmm. So life experiences, you got to have it. You got to have those ups and downs. You got to trip and fall right on your damn face. And you got to get your ass up, because it ain't about how many times you fall down. I know people, just an old cliche. It's about how you get back up and respond.
Yep. Life is all about learning from your experience. It's all about learning from your failures.
That's right.
Without failure, you cannot succeed.
I see Steve in there, man. I feel you, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I feel you.
All right, so we can move on from that subject now.
What you got next?
Well, we kind of went out of order because we went into D. Robinson, but you want to talk about JF1's timing?
Oh yeah. And it's based off of a little bitty, probably an 18-20 second clip that probably everybody saw, that corner shot off of a kind of a rollout in the end zone to Tarjay Sharp. Did everybody see that?
No.
So basically, it looked exactly like if you put Aaron Rodgers, you just suppose Aaron Rodgers over Justin Fields, it would look no different. I mean, it was so clean. The timing was so perfect. It looked exactly like Aaron Rodgers. The release, the timing of his feet, that you can tell by I could tell by looking at that and multiple other. I was watching so many clips over the weekend. People was putting out so many different clips of practice, and you can tell by a lot of these clips that stuff is just getting cleaner and more crisp by the day, and it's starting to reveal itself. He's getting better and better at that stuff, and I'm telling you, man, if this dude keeps doing the trend that he's going on right now, he's gonna light teams up. He's gonna light teams up, man. I'm telling you, it's getting clean in there. His feet are looking good. His releases are looking good. Everything is starting to look well and sync well as far as the timing goes, and that's important.
You want to add to that, Nick, before I do?
No, you can go ahead.
I mean, it's what we were talking about earlier, how it's like you can't, if you were to insert a different player in the drills that we're watching, it looks, I'm not saying he looks like Aaron Rodgers. I'm saying that he is running the same plays with the same footwork, the same timing, the same arm work as far as his handoffs, his fake handoffs, his play action, stuff. When you watch how they move, if you were to put them frame by frame and have one shadowed behind the other in camp, you'd almost be able to say, wow, Justin Fields looks like Aaron Rodgers because he's doing everything exactly the same way that Aaron Rodgers does it. They almost, you could insert any quarterback in that position, and even on Green Bay from their second and third stringers, they're going to look the same as Rodgers.
I was so glad to see it, man, because it looked. I can base it off of what I seen really early on in that camp, even in the OTAs when they first started, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the difference is like night and day because it was so clunky and it looked so clumsy because it was brand new installs and they were just learning what to be doing out there, and they just kind of getting their feet wet as opposed to where they are now. I mean, the difference is really night and day. It's really night and day. It looks really clean.
Mm-hmm. It's night and day from last year.
Mm-hmm.
The throwing motion is compact. The footwork is 100 times better. He's getting the ball out of his hands faster. It's just, I mean, again, I go back to the Swift Sports Network video that he made. It's just, you guys, everyone's got to check that out because it really puts into perspective all the things I've been saying from day one on this podcast. I put links to him on the Justin Fields rant that I went on about, oh my God, Justin Fields is a bust because everyone blew up about his fucking overthrow to N'Keal Harry, on a wide receiver that just got to the team, and he was one of the biggest wide receivers he's thrown to yet, and nobody even knows what the play looked like because we didn't get to see Justin Fields in the play. All we saw was the ball in the air, and I mean, overreacting to all this stuff just gets to be a little bit ridiculous. We have to take into context that it's training camp, and go look for yourself with your own eyes what he's been cleaning up in the off season from last year, and it's night and day. It really is. Looks like a different player.
You can see where the work is starting to pay off. The work he's putting in, by himself or even with the receivers, you can start to see that stuff starting to pay off.
Mm-hmm.
And and it's reflected in the timing and his footwork and how, like I said, in the West Coast offense, you're throwing to landmarks and the receivers are running to landmarks. The spot that they need to get to, there's a spot that he needs to throw that ball to every time, and it needs to be out at a certain time. Timing.
Before the receiver is there.
Yeah, before that receiver turns around, that ball is flying toward him.
Mm-hmm. When he turns around, it better hit him right in the damn face.
Right in his face, man.
Mm-hmm.
And he's getting it, you know, for a guy that's just picking up the offense. You can see a huge difference. I'm not going to say you're going to see perfect football play out of that offense in week 1 and week 2, but I'm telling you, they stick to it. They are going to get there. They're all young, Shorty. They're all young, and you can't tell them what they can't do. They believe they can beat anybody. Listen to Justin Fields' interview. They think they can beat anybody, and I believe if they believe that, I believe them.
Mm-hmm. I do too, man. How about you, Nick? How do you feel about Justin Fields?
I mean, wearing the jersey says it all. I'm a big believer in him.
Wait, you guys mean so you don't think Zach Wilson is better?
No comment. No comment.
I'm just kidding. I don't think anyone's better in this draft, really.
We're in Bears country. That means we like Justin Fields, and we don't entertain any fucking idea of trading him.
Absolutely not.
I wish somebody would get in here talking some shit about trading Justin Fields.
Maybe one day Don Burr will.
No, but you see that work paying off, man. It is getting that, and you can see his confidence. It's grown since the first interview when Eberflus and Poles got there. You can see it just growing, and I'm starting to hear him say things that are very direct, like we're gonna score points. I heard him say that out of his mouth. Mm-hmm. I heard him say that we're looking to win a Super Bowl, multiple Super Bowls. Heard him say that out of his mouth.
And then what did he say after that? And beat Green Bay.
Heard that out of his mouth. Mm-hmm. Those guys are confident. We're talking all kinds. Well, not us, but everybody else is making a whole bunch of noise about this, that, and the third. What they have, what they don't have. They ain't feeling like that. Mm-hmm. And we're not there. They're in that building, not us.
Right.
And based off of what they're saying, fuck what y'all talking about, dude.
Right. Mm-hmm. Why would you be? Why? You're in there busting your ass off, you know, sweating blood. All your blood, sweat, and tears is going into this team. You think you're paying fucking attention to what any other player on their team is doing or what they think of you? No, they better have their social media accounts shut off and just be going to work.
They know what they got. They know what they have.
Yeah.
They know what they have.
Of course they do. They're not gonna shit on the fact that they don't have a, you know, so-and-so at wide receiver 1 or so-and-so at guard or tackle. They're gonna roll with what they have in training camp. That's what they have. They have to do it. You have to have all of your eggs in your basket with your team, man. If you don't, you're not gonna. If you have any doubts in any of your players on your team, you are not going to succeed. You got to put all your eggs in the basket, roll with it, man. You got to roll with it.
Yes,
and
sir.
Let the chips play where they fall. And at the end of the season, we can all sit back and talk about what we all thought was right, what we all thought was wrong. But then we're going to have all the proof in the pudding to say, okay, we were right about this or we were wrong about that. But now it's just optimism abyss.
Hey, Shorty, do me a favor. Who's that guy you said was a football coach, a friend of yours?
Oh, Brian. He was on my first podcast.
Ask that guy. Do me a favor. Ask that guy. Would he rather have 53 well-known great athletes on his team to go into a season, or 53 bought in? Ask him which would he choose, and I guarantee you what he's going to tell you.
Bought in.
53 bought in.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all you need.
Mm-hmm.
53 bought in, determined, that's going to play hard and won't give. Mm-hmm. Guaranteed he's going to say that 53 bought in. Mm-hmm. The hell with those names.
Right. 53 bought in is what makes names.
It's a no-brainer to me.
every great team that we see that just comes out of nowhere is what? All 53 bought in. Actually, the entire team bought in, plus 53 plus, right? With the practice squad and all that shit.
Right.
So I'll take 53 bought in anytime over, for example, the Mark Trestman era with the Jay Cutler and a 2,000 yard wide receivers on that team, right?
And with the way he's training these guys, I'll kick your ass all over the place with that team.
Mm-hmm.
All over the damn place. And dare you to say something about it. I'll kick your ass. Those dudes are going to be hardcore, I promise you. So I'm telling y'all, man, buckle the fuck up. This team is going to be out there, and they're not going to be playing around.
And I'm sure you can agree with that, right, Nick? I mean,
oh yeah.
When you look at the buy-in that we're getting from this team so far, I mean,
yeah.
you compare it to
I
like
see
the Lovie Smith era, and if you go to the future now and you say, look at the buy-in we have now.
Yeah, I see a team that's going to play hard, disciplined football. I don't see people, how can I put this, like putting football, like playing for themselves, if you will. Kind of like what we were seeing with Nagy and his whole BU mantra. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with that.
We finally heading in the direction and building this team in the mold that it's supposed to be built in. Mm-hmm. We got away from that for 4 years, but it was an experiment for the organization and for the ownership. Let's try this, this new stuff out here. I heard it's pretty good. They're doing well in Kansas City with it. Bang.
Right.
Bang. If you can't get the right talent and the right coaches, none of that shit looks good.
Exactly. I mean, they went and plucked Nagy after he got the best out of Alex
Smith. Yeah.
Not after he got the best out of Patrick Mahomes.
Ridiculous, man. This is not who we are. The Chicago is a team and an organization and a city that is hardcore, man. We're blue collar people. And I said this in the first podcast. We're blue collar people. We want that shit rough. We want it tough.
Yep.
And you know why? It comes from being hardened by growing up there. Yeah. I mean, the basis of the steel-lined Bears fandom is growing up there, dealing with the only the 3 really great months out of the year, and the other 9 suck ass.
Cold,
and it
slushy.
Turns you into a gritty, irritable, prick most of the time, right? And then the only fucking thing you have to fall back on in the winter is the Bears and ice fishing if you're into that shit. If you're not, then you're just huddling into your house in the winter watching, the Hallmark Channel for 6 months so you can come back outside of your house. The rest of us are hardened Bears fans that are putting all of our blood, sweat, and tears into every second of that time of the year, going to the games, hardening out in the cold weather. I've been to so many freaking cold games, -9 degree, -9 degree, -2 degree games, and they were all the best ones I've ever been to. They were the most fun. And you start to becoming a hardened prick from that over the course of years of being a Bears fan. So, to grow up in a different state, and I love, we just had Chris Watts on from the UK. He kind of is in a hardened, cold area like that where he lives, but it's something different when you're like living in the area your whole life, and that's the only thing that you have at this time of year. It just turns you into a different person. So you're like,
look at Kitty.
having to safeguard your damn parking spot on the street after you shut it out. Yes. Yeah,
that's a good one. That's true though, boy. I'll tell you that.
Here's my ice fishing. I'm not gonna lie, he's my cousin. He's like my brother. He does love his ice fishing. Steve Phillips loves his ice fishing. And
I've never tried that. I'd like to try it though.
Oh man, it's a lot of fun.
Hey, let me squeeze in this quick promo while we got people in here before we get out of here. But we still got some Bears content to go, so don't take off, y'all. But I just want to impress you guys with this. Listen, and I'll speak for myself first. Whenever I go into anybody's live show, anybody's podcast, the first thing I do out of respect for what they do to have to put that content together and the time they spend trying to get these things off the ground to entertain you. And you all are our family. We see you everywhere and we talk. Man, before I go into a chat like that, I make sure I subscribe and I make sure I hit the like before I even get into the chat and start talking, just out of respect. And so we don't want to be here begging for subscriptions and likes and things like that, but show us that love so we can keep putting this stuff together, and we're just going to keep better and getting better and better and keep bringing it to you. This thing is going to get better and it's going to get bigger. So help us out with it so we can bring it.
That is so well said, Nomad. Thank you. You
No
feel
problem.
like you're sitting here begging, asking for subscriptions and likes and shit, but in the reality, if we want to keep this content going, it's going to we have to get our support from everyone here in chat. We have to build this fan base, get everyone
need
out here
y'all,
to
man.
enjoy us, enjoy listening to this content. And again, just want to say nothing but love and appreciation from everybody here in chat, helping us to have a great time pulling up your questions and stuff. It's been great.
I love you guys, man, just out of the genuineness of my heart. Don't know you, never met you, but don't need to. I can see the passion in you from a distance, and it's like a kindred, it's like a brotherhood. We're all in this together, so let's help each other out, man. Let's help each other out here.
I mean, this is what kind of finally got my ass in the gear to do this, was the people in chat that I see all over the different podcasts that we all are on, like listening to Bears content and putting all of our 2 cents in, and you get to know all the ones who are in it, the most. And you guys are 2 of them. For a perfect example, we started here at Bears Country Podcast. I had to have a buddy come out with me and Brian and just talk shit with me for a couple hours just to get the support, to have you guys appreciate it enough to want to come on, and it's kind of been growing organically from that. So thank you to everyone in chat again. And again, anyone that wants to be on this podcast, you are all welcome to. This is for the fans. We want you in chat to come and join us.
We're all family. Anything can happen. We're all family out here. Anything can be happening in any one of our personal lives. And we find, I got a feeling that everybody will rally to that person just because of the fondness we've grown with each other in these different chats and talking about the Bears and being enthusiastic about it. I believe everybody would rally to somebody if they needed help. And we're asking that right now.
And Steve Phillips says, with this group, you've got your primed to succeed. I hope so, Steve.
I hope so too.
Because there is nothing I'd rather be doing than just talking shit with fans about the Bears at least once a week, right? Especially when the season starts. Oh boy, that's good. You have no idea what you're even in for until the season starts. I'll tell you that much, guys. This is all just content trying to get you shit to watch now before the season starts. Because once the season starts, whoo, look out.
You know what? You know something, Shorty? You know something? It's usually on the weekends, especially like on a Friday night or a Saturday. There's a little bit of content that starts coming on Sundays. But man, I am down when I can't find Bears content and live shows to get into. I am down and out, and maybe we can fill that void.
Me too, man. I'm hoping so. It's going to take everyone out there in Chatland and Bears Love Land just to find us. And once they do, I'm hoping they're all going to be on board because we're going to have a lot of fun, man.
This is my passion, man.
Steve, you're right, Steve. I am ready. I'm ready. I think Nomad is ready. I think you're ready, Nick, because we'll have you on again. This is not the first of it. You're one of our Bears bros, man. When you become a Bears bro, you're a Bears bro for life, right?
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Absolutely, man.
I know you're ready, Shorty, else I wouldn't still be here with you. I can tell you're ready.
I appreciate that, Nomad, because you're helping to make this thing tick along right now. That's for sure.
Doing what I can.
I got a constant Bear bro. I got you. At least I know I got you every week. I know that. That's good.
I'm gonna blow this shit right out of the frame, man. You watch.
So we have a couple more subjects to wrap up here, and then I think we're going to be done. You want to talk about the roster?
And I think we kind of, you know what? instead of me going on and on, let's make sure Nick get his bite at the apple.
Yeah, Nick, what do you think about? It's kind of like thrown off to you on the like unscripted, but what do you think about the roster we have so far?
This roster is a little interesting. It's younger, a lot of more unproven guys because they were either buried in the depth charts or just were like second or third options if they were receivers. But what really has me pumped up is the coaching staff. So with that being said, coaching makes like an 8 talent turn into a 10, and so on and so forth. So we have guys on this roster. And I'm very glad that we're going back to a 4-3 defense because, in my opinion, I think it's a better defense to run just for stuffing the run sake, and then even in the passing game, just because you have that extra guy in the defensive backfield or whatever, if you will. So with trading away Khalil Mack and keeping Robert Quinn, I was actually okay with that just because of. I think that as far as career trajectory goes, I think Quinn's probably got like 2 more better seasons in him than Mac does. Just because Mac at this point now is getting bodied by injuries. It's not his own fault. He was playing at a god level for so long that his body's not really keeping up with it. Anyway,
and he was the of the two, he was the one to trade because you want to keep Quinn for the 4-3.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and just because he had more value for trade purposes, just because he's a little bit younger than Quinn, not by much. I think they're literally like a year apart, but just because people go up in arms for name value, and Mac is technically a higher value name because he's always voted in the Pro Bowl, blah blah blah, and all that crap. He's a 99 Madden X Factor, blah blah blah. So that's why he was easier to trade away for picks and stuff and so forth. Mm-hmm. The offense is definitely going to be intriguing just because we have a lot of quote unquote no-name guys. But if you get past all of that bull crap and realize this is football and coaching and execution scheme matters, then you can look and see, oh, okay, it makes sense why we have these players on the football team, why we didn't get the flashier names in free agency, so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm. You done?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm good.
You want some of that, Shorty?
Oh no. Well, yeah. I'll go next just so you can wrap it up. I agree with him on that. The roster, we had some contracts we had to get rid of, right? Getting rid of Mac I was happy with it at the time. They took his contract from us. It's on our books this year, but it's gone after next. I was upset that they only got a second this year and a sixth next year, but they turned that into a second this year and 2 sevenths this year. That made me happy. Mm-hmm. I think with the value that they added on the defense, which is going to only play into our defensive coaching's hands, into their schemes, make the defense better. Justin Fields to me is a fucking superstar in the making, and he is going to be the key cog that's going to make this offense go. So I don't think they needed to go out and get a trade for a wide receiver or sign some, $100 million wide receiver. I love what they did with Velus Jones. I know there's some people think that we could have traded back in that position and still got him, but I think you can never know, right? So if you thought you were going to get him 15 picks later or something, he might have been gone. Right. So if you targeted him at the third draft spot, then go get him. Right?
And at that point, that's just nitpicking. Like, exactly. Who fucking cares? Right. Who fucking cares if we didn't trade down? We got him when we got him. Like, right. All right.
And they still managed to get a shitload of offensive line help in the end of the draft.
Exactly. He traded back so much and got so much out of it. I was so pleased with his draft. I was so happy with it.
And I think that the pieces you have left over with Montgomery, with Mooney, with Fields, hopefully with Jenkins, hopefully with some of the rookies that they drafted for the offensive line. So I think that everything has been handled perfectly as far as roster, or near perfect for me as far as roster is and Ryan Poles is concerned. I can nitpick here and there what I think he could have done differently, but overall I think he hit a triple in his first off season. Might not have been a home run, but it was definitely a triple. They might have scored a couple of runs too. So I'm happy with where we're at as a team. I'm excited for this preseason game to see what they're going to truck out there onto the field and how much the starters are going to play, etc. But moving forward, I mean, and I've said it before, I'm calling 11-6 because I think that there's too many variables that go into play here, and there's too many of them that could go in the favor of the Bears, and so therefore I'm always going to pick the optimistic side of that and go where I think the ceiling is the limit, or the sky's the limit. You know, the ceiling of this team could be. So that's where I say 11-6 from. I'm realistically probably wrong, but that's where I get my optimism from.
It's fine to aim high,
right? So that's all I have to say. It's up now. The floor is yours, Nomad.
That's you guys made some really good points, and I love how you're thinking about the whole thing because it's not that far from what I'm about to say. I think from the get-go, and I'm going back to the decision to bring in Poles and getting Poles and what his mindset was, and the kind of coach he was looking for, and what kind of plan that they may have had to get this thing turned around, and how quickly they may have thought they can get this thing turned around. And apparently they had a good plan. Mm-hmm. And they came in the door, and to me, I think the first order of business was to trim off the fat, for lack of better words, of guys, that kind of thing, and get the guys that they thought might rock the boat and not go along with the buy-in, get them going no matter what the cost. We need to just go in another direction with different players. Mm-hmm. I think that's why the turnover was so big. Mm-hmm. They got guys out of there that they didn't think that they thought might rock the boat, so they got rid of them. Mm-hmm. And they came in the door with a limited salary cap situation, right? Yeah. And they went out on the
and a draft capital situation.
Right. Everything was limited. Everything was limited. And they somehow figured out a way to tweak the situation and get the most out of the situation. In free agency, they were able to pull off, and they must be very impressionable people when you sit in the office and talk to them. They got a whole bunch of people that probably could have got more money in other places. Mm-hmm. You know, a bunch of free agents that probably could have went other places and got at least $3 or $4 million more than they got with the Bears. Mm-hmm. But obviously they impressed these guys in interviews and told them we're trying to build something special here. Mm-hmm. Some of you guys haven't had opportunities the way you would want them at different places. Come here and try us. Give us a year. Show us you can do something, and there'll be money on the table for you. Mm-hmm. So, and Eberflus's style, I'm overly impressed on, because I haven't heard one word of one guy in that locker room but what he's trying to do. Mm-hmm. The hard practices and everything that he's putting on the table and turning these guys into really aggressive animals to be able to go out and win games, that takes hard work. You got to get out there and work your ass off. I've been part of camps where you just can't do it no more, but you got to push through it. You got to push through it. And some guys will resent that. Haven't heard one whisper. Not one. And that's impressive. And so with that being said, they got what they got on the roster, and I'm okay with it. And I think it's better than everybody's imagining it's going to be. However, my favorite parts of the roster, for me, is easily the running back room. Love that room. Love it. The versatility they have at running back is going to be something to see this year. Mm-hmm. And my second favorite part of the roster is probably the safeties. I think they went and got some good depth out there. That Dane Crookshank, drafting Elijah Hicks, trying to see what we got in Eddie, maybe turning his career back on the path that it needs to be on. Mm-hmm. Getting Jaquan Brisker. Come on, man. Mm-hmm. Come on, man. And they got other dudes in there too, man. They got other dudes in there. So I'm just so hyped about this season because I know what can happen when you got, let's just say, the rest of the teams have A+ players. Mm-hmm. You give me a B+ guy, 53 of them, I'll take it to your ass.
Get the buy-in like we talked about last on our
That's
last
right.
podcast. The buy-in, the
That's right.
commitment, the will to succeed, the drive to learn, and all that combined. Yeah, that makes up the difference between a B- or B+ and an A-.
Flus is setting these guys up to take it to teams, man. And I think that's what they're going to do. Take it straight to them, force you to do something in that conditioning part. You want to hear me say that on a regular basis. That is not to be undervalued. There is nothing like in the fourth quarter and those dudes on the defensive end are standing there holding their hips and you just like, yeah, they can't do nothing with us now.
I mean,
you're at their mercy.
Haven't we all been in a situation in our lives where we are we are working on something that we have to do, a project? Like I'll take, for example, my wife and I chose a Memorial Day weekend. It was the hottest damn day of the summer. There wasn't a cloud in the sky. There wasn't a damn breeze in the sky. It was like 98 degrees, and we're trying to dig a hole on a 3-day weekend, and we have to have this done to put in a French drain in our front yard and our backyard. 70-foot-long French drain. We had to dig the hole by hand. We had to put in this underlayment. We had to put in rocks. We had to wrap the rocks in an underlayment like a burrito. Then we had to put more dirt on top of that and put the soil back on top. We had 3 days to do this. In unbearable, dying summer Georgia heat, where we had to have a cooler full of ice with cooling towels in there to like pull out and wrap around our head every 15 minutes. You know how badly I wanted to quit that and not do it, and my wife included. We had to push ourselves to the max because you have got to get it done. There's all sorts of examples like this in life that everyone's been through, whether it's work, whether it's something like I'm talking about. When you when you have no fucking chance but to push yourself to the limit because you have got to get it done, that's what creates champions.
Oh yeah,
it hardens people.
When you're talking about this in the football world, and they're out there running the ball as fast as they can every play, and there is absolutely no room for slacking. What is that going to do? It's going to harden them. It's going to make them better. When it comes time to game time, they're going to find that extra, that sweet spot.
Extra gear and all that, yeah.
And they're going to find that. They're going to know how to access it. And if you don't know how to access that, you're never going to be great.
We're gonna remember this conversation at some point in the season. You're going to see it. You're going to see it at some point in the season. You're going to see the absolute. It's going to be telling to the eye, because when it's evident that this team ain't got it and this team does. Late in the game, you'll see it, and you'll be like, "We talked about that." It is evident when you're conditioned. There, you're a freight train. When you're not conditioned, there's a limit. You can push it, but you're gonna hit a wall, and can you get past that wall? Mm-hmm. That's the difference between winning the game and losing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's just what I want to say about that. We'll remember this conversation.
Yes, we will. I mean, when we're talking about this, 2 months from now, 3 months from now, when we're starting to see the, mid season, when it's all starting to click and everyone's going 250 to the ball, at all times, we're gonna remember this for sure.
Yep. Remember, you'll see them when you start. Hey, Nick, when you start seeing them dudes on defense with them hands on them hips, like, God damn, here they come again. You gotta remember this conversation.
I'll be happy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be happy when I start seeing that, because I just know Montgomery's gonna be breaking off some gains.
Mm-hmm.
Like, them dudes would rather be anywhere than right then and there at that point. Like, I don't want to do this shit no more. This shit's killing me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Damn, I gotta go up against Tevin Jenkins again.
Yeah.
I've been on both sides of the coin.
Run down
man.
my fucking throat.
Right.
I've been on both sides of the coin.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't no fun being on the opposite side of
it. No, man. You don't want to be standing there winded, getting the ball run down your damn throat.
And you know it's coming.
And you know the next play is a run, and you can't do shit about it, right?
Yeah. That's all I got on that. If
me too. That's all I got too.
If you want to let me get my Tevin Jenkins right off.
Yeah, let's
unless you got something else, go ahead, man. I can still wait.
No, I think we have talked about everything you wanted to talk about. The defense says I think the one more thing was the defense has the advantage in camp that you wanted to talk about, but
I could be real brief about that. listen, all the people out there that's looking at, even if you went to the camp or you're looking at clips on TV and listen to what the reporters tell you about how well the defense is playing against the offense, that's supposed to happen, man. That's supposed to happen. The defense is out there every day seeing the exact same playbook. They're supposed to respond faster because they've seen the plays over and over and over again. They know it's coming to them.
Mm-hmm.
So until they split it, until they break it up, unless they bring another team in and scrimmage against them,
right,
or even in preseason, that's when you start seeing the offense make gains. But in practice, the defense is supposed to win. Take it from me. I've been there.
Mm-hmm. 100% agree. I mean, that is the defense is going to have the advantage. They're learning something that's a lot more simplified, right? To get them to run to the ball, make the plays. This defense is actually a lot more simplified than the 3-4 was.
It's very simple. It's very simple.
Nobody's thinking.
Yeah, the only thing complicated in a 4-3 base defense is when you see the linebackers go up and slap a D tackle on the butt and tell them to either squeeze in a pinch or widen out in a flex. That's the only thing. Other than that, it's the linebackers making calls or the safety making calls based on some formation they see. Other than that, it's simple.
Mm-hmm. Go see ball, get ball. Simple.
That's it.
Meanwhile, the offense is trying to learn all this other new crazy shit terminologies. I mean, you spit off a fraction of a play earlier in the show. And, can you imagine just trying to learn those 3 sentences that you said in that fraction of a play and add 5 more to it? And you have to learn all of that shit, a
lot of verbiage.
Then you have to read what the defense is doing,
Mm-hmm.
And then adjust to it and make the calls to adjust to it. The defense definitely has a clear advantage in any situation with it like this with a new team, and it's only going to make the offense better.
It's kind of how I know the difference between somebody who knows the game as a reporter and somebody who doesn't. Because if you're running out here to your podcast talking about, the defense had a great day, it made the offense look bad, you don't know what the fuck you're looking at.
Right.
At all. I could tell you're a nerd and you ain't never played no football in your life when you run out there and say shit like that, because even though I'm not there, I know what's going on.
Right.
Installs for a new offense, a brand new offense, takes time. And the defense should have an advantage.
Like you said, it's going to be clunky for a little while.
For a good while.
Mm-hmm. If we can lean on that defense in the first couple of games, sneak some wins out of a couple of playoff teams,
it'd be great.
Mm-hmm. So,
yeah,
are you done? Any more on that, Nomad?
No, I'm good. I'm done.
All right, it's going on 3:13 now, so we should probably get this wrapped up. So you wanted one more thing. You wanted. Oh wait, no, you had a highlighted hard practices.
We touched it a little bit.
Okay, we did kind of in the last subject. How the hard practices make they're a game changer.
I think we made the point
ball
there.
at all times, right? Yeah. Okay, so what's your last rant on Tevin Jenkins?
And this is me hoping and praying that some reporter or somebody is listening. Man, leave Tevin Jenkins alone. Leave him alone. He's seen enough stuff. He's been through enough stuff. He's young. He's engaged. He's probably expecting a baby, trying to hold on to his roster spot. He's gone through the turmoil of whatever happened behind the scenes with the coaches and the team. Whatever happened, we can all speculate about any of it and go on forever and ever about it. But we can also make a choice to leave that guy the hell alone and let him do what he came here to do. Mm-hmm. Quit quizzing him about what's going on with that situation and why he was missing practice. What does it matter at this point? He's back out there. Leave him alone. Let him play fucking football like he was brought in here to do.
And it's perfect timing for Cliff Victoria to say before you started this, he was saying, screw these media guys. Some of them sound like idiots.
Oh, yeah, they are.
It's just irritating, man. The guys, you got to remember, man, these guys are just young. I don't want to call them kids, but they are.
They are,
you know, they kind of are kids, man. And they're trying to figure it out just like anybody else in life. Their life took them down this path to be a professional football player. You're trying to get it done, and you're trying to navigate growing up at the same time and being mature and, you know, all the stuff that comes with life. Leave the guy alone and let's see him play football. Please leave him alone.
And we're done doing that on Bears Country Podcast, I think, because
I hope so.
I don't want to add any more to it. Like no more speculation here. Just go out there and kick some ass, prove your spot on the roster, and shut everyone up.
Unless he's busting ass in a preseason game or a game, I don't want to talk about Tevin Jenkins. Let him get out there and play ball, man.
Mm-hmm. I agree. It's going to be just leave the kid alone. Let's watch him progress. And it's going to be fun to watch where he goes, where he takes it into the preseason. I imagine we're going to be seeing a lot of him in the preseason, right?
Oh, yeah. No question.
He hasn't been playing a lot, and they kind of put him on the second team at the end of the OTAs. He comes back in the beginning of training camp. He's not playing. There's all the speculation. They put him out there in front of the presser, like you said. Hey, go deal with it. You know, maybe it could have been related to your agent, kind of a thing, or whatever. Just go out there and speak your piece to the media. He gets out there, seems a little. I don't want to deal with this right now. I'm going through my own problems. But in the books, done. He got it. He ripped the Band-Aid off by going out there and talking to the media himself, right? Time to fucking get out there, go to work, put your money where your mouth is, get out there in this next game on this coming Saturday. I imagine he's gonna play a lot and go kick some ass.
If these reporters really, if they'll get on their podcast and whatever shows they have and tell you straight up and down that they're Bears fans. Mm-hmm. So if you consider yourself a Bears fan, do us a solid. Mm-hmm. Give the guy some space and leave him alone. Mm-hmm. Don't ask him the kind of questions that will frustrate. Leave him alone, man. Mm-hmm. Let's see what he's got, man. Just give him a break.
Yeah.
Yep. Let him go out there and be a young kid in the NFL, trying to find his way. Stop riding his ass. But don't add to his problems. Let's look back on it in 2 years, and we're going to find out that by doing that, wow, we were all wrong about Tevin Jenkins. We all speculated this and that, and we were all wrong.
Just tired of the badgering, man. Yeah. The badgering is just annoying, man.
Yeah, very annoying.
Leo Factor says they didn't ask him if he's happy in Chicago. They did. By the way, what does SMH mean? I've been trying to figure that out.
Shaking my head.
Oh, thank you.
I didn't know 5 years ago.
Well, shit.
Yeah, you're officially an old. You're officially an old motherfucker. I can guarantee you that.
Well, I got the glasses on now, so
it's a wrap.
If I'm going to be honest, I don't really have to wear these glasses. They just look better on me when I'm doing the podcast because I'm not losing my hair, but I'm losing my eyebrows. So if I start doing like this too much, it looks like I'm angry and my eyebrows are like going on a V. Like
that's creeping up to the scalp, man. That's the first sign.
It just looks better wearing the glasses because you can't see my half grow my half of the lack of eyebrows I have. I'm happy to have all the hair on my head, so I'm not going to complain about losing some eyebrows. But I think the glasses just do better for the podcast. So I might look older than I am. I don't mean to overdate myself.
I can. You know what? Just to put it.
Nomad, you're right. I am getting old.
Yeah, that's official, man. You just made it official with that statement about SMH.
No shit.
You just made that official. But I'll tell you one thing, and I'll wrap this up with my Bears commentary. I can guarantee you these guys ain't hanging out at the Regal Beagle after practice. They ain't. Them dudes are dog shit tired, and all they want to do is eat and go to bed. You ain't got to worry about them motherfuckers getting in trouble. Them motherfuckers are sleepy. Mm-hmm. I know that feeling, man. That's all you want to do is eat and get in fetal position somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Go to bed. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Oh, man, guys, this has been a great show talking with you guys, man. Really has. Kind of we've been doing some podcasts here, so just trying to get some content out and get things off our chest, bring on some guests to kind of get them, like yourself, Nick, and Chris Watts yesterday, and anyone else who wants to join us, Cliff, J2K, Leo Factor, you're welcome to join us too. Just send us your information to Bears Country Podcast at gmail.com, or you can find me on Twitter at Mr. Shorty or at Bears Country Podcast, and you can DM me. Would love to have anyone here and chat on the show. That's kind of what this basis is about, is bringing our chat members into the show and having them converse with us rather than chat with us. And it's just been a lot of fun going through the process here, getting to know everyone, bringing them on the show, hearing what everyone has to say. Nomad, I made a good friend out of you now. You're now my co-host. I mean, this has just been a lot of fun. And I want to thank everyone here, both you guys included, for being a part of this. So thank everyone. Thank you. And thank you guys.
Thank you, Nick, man. And I appreciate you and your candor, man. I got your Bears family now, man. You welcome here all the time.
Thank you.
Got love for you now, man. I can see who you are and feel who you are and everything, man. I appreciate the shit out of you for coming on.
I appreciate you. Thank you very much.
You're a Bears brother now, Nick. I love the JF1 jersey, by the way.
Thank you.
You got one before me.
I had to get it before I went to a game last year. I wasn't about to try out a Trubisky or Cutler jersey for this.
Mm-hmm. I bought a Trubisky jersey right away, and I shouldn't have. And I'm not reluctant to buy a Justin Fields jersey yet. I haven't, so I'll get on that ASAP. You've reminded me I have to.
I got one for Mitch just out of support because, when you're a Bears fan, that's what you do. You ride with your quarterbacks. You don't fantasize about trading them.
Mm-hmm. Right. You gotta ride with what you got. You got to put all your eggs into your basket, right? Yeah.
I mean, I would have loved Patrick Mahomes or Watson. Don't get me wrong, but Mitch was our guy, so I rode with Mitch.
Me too. And I actually still ride with him. I want to see him succeed in Pittsburgh.
Oh, I ain't riding
if
with
he
that.
succeeds, man, that'd be great if he succeeds. Just for his sake, I hope so.
Oh, you're not? You're not, Nomad?
Hell no. I'm done with that motherfucker. Overly done.
He pissed me off a lot in 2019, but I just knew it was coming because I never thought that Nagy was really like this whole team. I didn't think that they had a Super Bowl team. Like 2018 was just really all smoke.
Yeah.
Now Mitch is I've never met him, comes across as a super nice guy. I do wish him well. I don't want to get carried away, but I'm done. Yeah. I don't want to ever see him in a Bears uniform ever.
No.
Yeah, I feel
we're done with that.
Yeah.
But I'm curious to see what he does on the Steelers. I'll be watching him just as a measuring stick, I guess, if you will.
I want to say thank you to everybody in that chat. Been waiting for you guys to show up and show out, and y'all finally got here. Man, that feels good. It feels so good to see y'all out there in that chat. I want to hug all y'all. I just want to say thank you.
Big Bears hug to everyone in chat. I agree with Nomad. I mean, we can't do it without you guys. We can sit here and talk shit the entire time, but we might as well just record it and post it, So, in fact, Kitty's like, "Are you sure you want to do this live? Not tonight, but like when I do like the side. Are you sure you want to just do a live one at noon on a Sunday?" I'm like, "Well, yeah, because if you get two people in there, at least there's some questions you can pull up. You're not just winging it the whole time, going back and forth. You're able to at least have some feedback." So, everyone in chat, thank you so much for coming out. I know there's a lot of other stuff that you guys like to watch too, and I know there's a lot of content for you to watch. So we do appreciate you coming in here with us, talking some shit with us, jabbing back and forth.
Feels like home now, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. And like I said, at Mr. Shorty on Twitter, at Bears Country Podcast on Twitter, or Bears Country Podcast at gmail.com. Send us your information. We'll pull you guys on the show, and we'll talk with you for 3.5 hours too.
Love it.
Anything else, guys?
I give Nick first crack.
Just another thank you for having me on. It was really great to be on here, talk Bears. And another thing too, I mean, I'm just a Bears fan first and foremost. I have no brand or name to push on here, because when I come on here, I just want to talk about the Bears.
Mhm.
I don't want to use the Bears as a way to get my name out there to be a fucking viral sport analysis. I want to be here just to talk Bears with you guys. That's all I'm here for. If anyone wants to follow me on Twitter, sure, go ahead. That's cool. But I'm not here to push any narratives, sell anything. I'm just here to fucking talk the sport that I love.
Much
So
respect
again,
for
thank
that.
you guys so much.
Much respect for that.
Much
I hear you,
respect,
bro.
too. Yeah, I don't like using Twitter, man. It sucks having to use this to, you kind of have to use it to promote Bears country, but
Mhm.
I think it's starting to make its way, and hopefully we can continue to just get the content out there that everyone they know when we're on, and we can have people in chat, we can talk, and
It's just gonna get better, y'all. It's just gonna get better. Y'all just keep showing up and showing out, and this is gonna get better. I promise you that.
So Cliff's saying when he comes on, I can do 3.5 hours. Probably will talk too much. So
We'll see. Let's see.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. We're happy to have you on, Cliff, J2K, everyone in chat. You're all welcome to come on. As I said, you know where to find us. And let's arrange it. Let's bring everyone on. I mean, we could even have 4 people on. We can do 2 guests. We can have 4 people on here at once, all having fun. So I think that's about it for tonight. Thank you all once again. Nick, you're always a pleasure to talk to.
Thank you.
In every forum, especially live here.
You see that question? Did you see that question? Leo wants to know what's the schedule. He doesn't know when we're going to go live on a regular.
Oh, so Leo, right now we're currently doing Monday nights at this time, 8 p.m. Eastern time. I don't want to start interfering with Monday Night Football once that starts, so we'll probably move it to like a Wednesday, somewhere around there. I'm also a fan of the Barroom Network, as all you guys are, so I'm not trying to compete with anything on there because I kind of want to,
Those are our bros too.
Those are
our bros.
Those are our bear bros. I like to pay attention to chat, even if I'm not on their shows. Just kind of be in the chat room with you guys too. So this is just kind of trying to do this organically in time frames that it works for everybody. So right now we're on Monday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern time. We'll probably move it to like a Wednesday when the show when the season starts, and then maybe some pre games, maybe some post games. Kind of working on that still, but as of now, Monday nights for sure. There might be some additional content in between if we have a wild hair up our ass. We got to get off our chest. There might be something to piss us off. We have to talk about, or makes us happy. We have to talk about. But until then, once the season starts, we'll be going to like a Wednesday. And thank you all so much for being here. Thank you, Leo. He says, great show, guys. Cliff says, have a good night, you guys. We love you guys. Have a good night to you guys too, man.
Much love. Much love.
And we got to go before I fuck around and get stabbed.
All right, so like last time, Nomad, I'm not sure how down you are with this, but I kind of like to end this podcast on a 1, 2, 3 Bears. But last time you were like Bears. So is that I'm like you're a little cool. You're pretty chill and cool. So you might not want to do that shit. You just let me know. Yeah, he was like,
I'll leave it to you and Nick. How about that?
Oh no, come on. Even if it's
Nomad.
Even if it's just a pair.
All right, man. I'll throw in for you. I'll throw in.
All right. We love all you guys. We'll see you again next Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern time for sure. Look out in case there's some pop-up live comment. Keep your notifications on. Make sure you like and subscribe. And we love all you guys. We'll see you soon. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Bears. That was early.
Bears.
Bears Country Podcast. Oh.